Before we begin, I'd like to say that some of the conversation from today is kind of graphic in nature. We're talking about police work and detective work, and some of it's intense. If those types of conversations are not for you, then please make that choice for yourself. Thank you. Today's guest is a retired Boston police officer and detective. She had over 20 years on the force before she joined the Human Trafficking Unit and fought criminals in that world. We learned a lot about what it's really like out there, and I want to thank her for her service. Today's guest is Miss Kara Connolly. Yeah, I've been losing some hair because of stress.
Yeah, it happens. Sucks.
Yeah.
You just go in the sink and you got handfuls.
Yeah, you just wake up and it looks like you look back and you're like, oh,
on your pillow. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gross.
Your pillow's got sideburns on it or something. You know, your pillow's using a curling iron. You're like,
it's a mess. Yeah.
That's
Same.
way too much. You've dealt with it?
Yeah. In the past. Yeah.
Yeah. And was it stress from work?
Yeah, and other things, but the minoxidil definitely helps because I called my doctor and they're like, oh, she can't see you for 9 months. And I was like, well, my fucking hair's falling out. And they're like, well, you could see the nurse practitioner in 2 months. I was like, no. So I went to one of those online things and they sent me minoxidil. And like 3 months, I had little bald baby hairs sprouting out and it came back. So it does help.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm realizing. I just gotta, just taking some time just to do things just that I enjoy. That's that's like my focus right now is just to do things that I enjoy. Because I'll let added stress stay on me as well, you know?
Yeah, of course.
That's what I'll do.
It builds up.
Yeah, and not realizing that everything's going to be okay, you know?
That's what my boyfriend's here with us, and when I was nervous about today, and he's like, it's all going to be okay.
Yeah, it really is.
No platitudes.
Yeah, everything's going to be okay. Kara Connolly, thank you so much for joining us. You are a retired police officer and detective from Boston.
That's correct.
And you were on the forces for
31 years.
31 years.
Yeah.
And you started out in Dorchester, I think?
Yeah, when I graduated the police academy, they send you to a couple different places till you're on probation or whatever. And I went to a part of the city called Dorchester.
Probation they send? So
when you join the police department, you go through the police academy.
Okay.
And then when you get out, now they do it for a year, but when I graduated, it was 6 months. And they have you, basically it's probationary period to see if you're, good enough, behave enough, or do the right thing for like 6 months. So they send you to a couple different places, like one busy district, one quiet district.
So they start you like a probationary period somewhere?
Yes. And you might stay there or they might move you, but that's how you're on probation for 6 months and then you're, a full-time police officer after that.
Okay. And what were those first years on the force like? Like in South Boston, was it?
Yeah. So I was actually born in South Boston. So I was in Dorchester and then I was in South Boston. South Boston at the time was a quieter district. Dorchester was very, very busy. In the 90s was like in Boston was a ton of shootings and gang stuff going on. So comparatively speaking, South Boston was a quieter place to end up for several years.
And what were the demographics of that area like where you were servicing?
Kind of everywhere. Dorchester is a different demographic than South Boston, population-wise. Now South Boston's very hip and like it's all young kids. But at the time I was there, it was like all just kind of families. Pretty quiet place at the time compared to other districts where like, a shooting every couple of days. So.
And is it mostly white, black, Latino, Asian?
Dorchester at the time when I was first there was a lot of black, some white, some Asian. And South Boston at the time was mostly white, but with some black and Latinos.
Got it. And who are the people they call Southies? Because you hear that a lot.
Southies is not a thing. You could say you're from Southie, but it's not pluralized. There's no S on the end of it. But so I'm from Southie, but I never said that growing up. We always said South Boston, but most people said I'm from Southie.
Okay,
That's how it's just a nickname for the part of town.
Right, but so you're not like, but do other people call you Southies? Those are Southies?
No, people from like out of the city who hear about it became popular because it was in Goodwill Hunting, was in South Boston. So that's kind of what put it on the map. So when people started moving there and didn't know any better, that's how they would say it. But people who grew up there back in the 70s, 80s, or whatever didn't say it like that. That pub that they filmed in became like a big thing, L Street Tavern, and that was like around the corner from where I grew up.
And were the people there distrustful of police at the time? What was the relationship like between?
No, People in Southie like the cops so compared to other parts of the city, I think, in my experience. I mean, it was a quiet place when I worked there. Most of the stuff that kind of good stuff that happened or whatever crazy or calls I've been on happened when I was a detective. Patrolman was pretty quiet.
Do you remember one of your first like big like calls as a patrolman that was like, oh, this is real? Like, do you remember that like a first moment where you're like, this is pretty real?
Well, a lot of the calls, it's funny, a lot of the calls when it comes in like, person with the gun call, like I still remember my first person with the gun call, I was shitting my pants because I was like, oh my God, and it turned out to be bullshit. It wasn't even real. So a lot of the calls are like that. You don't know they're fake until you get there. So you're like an adrenaline dump in the car and you're like, oh my God, this is real. And I remember being like, what am I going to do? Nothing. It was a big nothing burger.
Were you putting lipstick on or what? I mean, what do you even do?
No, there was no lipstick when I was a patrolman. No.
Yeah, like would you like powder up your face a little bit or something?
No one powdered their face on the way to a call, huh?
That wasn't it.
No, that wasn't a thing.
Yeah, that's just in Charlie's Angels, huh?
Yeah.
What was it like being an officer in the 90s in that time period? Like, was that way different than you think it is now?
Yes. I think so. I mean, obviously, the rate of shootings in Boston was much higher then. I forget what our highest homicide rate was in the early 90s. It might have been like 150, 160 people. Now Boston has like 35 a year. So it's a big difference. It's become much safer, whether the gangs kind of aged out and they all went to jail or, got shot or moved on in life, whatever happened, it became much safer, I'd say.
Well, there's no money in being in a gang either. I think a lot of people are like, oh, this is a shitty business, This says 1990, the homicide peak. Boston's homicide count hit an all-time high of 152 cases, with much of the violence concentrated among youth and involving firearms. The spike was driven by gang violence, crack cocaine epidemic, and easy access to handguns.
Yeah, so the 90s are a little different than now, for sure.
Compared to then, how do you feel like police work is different between now and then? Do you have any thoughts on that?
I don't know. I mean, the whole like community policing aspect started when I was new, so that's kind of still progressed along. I think
what does that mean, community policing?
Well, that's what they call it. At the time, they had walking beats. So when I got on, you wouldn't be in a cruiser, like you'd walk the neighborhood, kind of like they do in New York City. They have people walking around. There's not a lot of cruisers. And so they would put people in certain parts of the city. Like when I got on, for example, and I worked in Dorchester, I think there were like 7 or 8 walking beats up and down like kind of the main street in the town. And now, there's only a couple, and they just put those on again. So they're kind of trying to get back to that. So that was very different. Like people who did the walking beats full time, like knew everyone in the neighborhood. That was the whole purpose, is to get people into the neighborhood so people feel comfortable speaking to the police. Except the neighborhoods where they put the walking beats were usually the worst neighborhoods, and people didn't give a shit. They didn't want to talk to us. So
it didn't matter anyway.
No, not the parts of the city where they had them. Now it's different. They don't have as many walking beats at all. They push a lot of the social media stuff, like the dancing cops is the fucking worst. It's so cringy. And the department, all the police departments do that. They put it out to try to be like, look, we're accessible. Oh, see, it's so embarrassing.
Oh, I haven't even seen this.
It's so goddamn cringy.
Are these real cops?
That's usually I don't know about them. Yeah, it says they are.
Oh my!
Well, at least they can dance. Like when our department puts it out, it's like she's like, right? Cops like, oh, we're playing basketball with the kids, and let's all do. Especially during COVID, it's so cringy. They just put out one the other day for female women law enforcement day, and they had like women dancing. And some of my girlfriends and I sent it back and forth. Like, this is so.
Who wants to see? Dude, the last thing I want is my cop dancing over there.
Is that what you're looking for when you call for help? Someone to show up and start dancing? Like, you want someone who's gonna give you a hand?
Yeah.
It's just, I know they're trying to soften their image. They don't want to look like paramilitary anymore. They want to look friendly and not scary and whatever. Whether it works or not long term, I don't know.
Yeah. You get promoted to detective in 2005? 2007,
yeah.
Okay. And what does it mean to become a detective? What does that mean exactly?
So to become a detective, back then you had to take an exam. So it's like a 6-month to year-long process. You have to study for several months, and there's like 6 or 7 textbooks you have to read. So you take the exam, and then they do kind of like an oral interview, depending on how you score on the test, and then they kind of combine your years of training and experience, your test score, and your interview to say, okay, these people have a high enough score to get made detective. So, and then you do like a month's worth of training back at the police academy to because being a detective and versus a patrolman, it's very, very different. First of all, wear a uniform, which is my favorite part. But it's just a completely different job. Like you're now responsible. Cop gets a call, they go to the call, they write a report, and that's the end of it until they have to go to court. If the report that the cop writes about, it gets assigned to a detective, and now you own that. Like, so you have to follow through, you have to follow up and go to court or take out criminal charges or whatever. So it's a very different job.
Is there a lot of lobbying to become a detective? Like whenever you're like on the force, or people like, I want to be detective, and then do people, is there any way to manipulate things so it betters your chances of becoming a detective?
No,
or is it not like that?
Not like that. So everyone, if anyone's a patrolman, doesn't want to be a patrolman for long. I was a patrolman for 13 years, which was a long time. Usually they do the detective's exam every 2 or 3 years. And for some reason we had a 7-year break because I didn't take it. I just had a child, and I was like, I'll take the next one in a couple of years. And it was 7 years. So I was a patrolman for a long time. So people—
It was 7 years to the next promotion?
Yeah, till the next exam.
Oh.
So it was a long wait. But people want it just because it's better than being a patrolman. Some people love being a patrolman and will do that their entire life, but most people either want to take an exam and become a supervisor, like a sergeant, a lieutenant, and keep kind of going up the chain, or people are interested in being a detective. So it's definitely desirable,
Mm-hmm. Do you remember an early case as a detective that really kind of stood out to you?
Yeah, I had a good armed robbery once. That sounds like an oxymoron, a good armed robbery.
That's great.
It was
a good armed robbery.
It was on Halloween, which is always one of the worst days of the year to work. 4th of July, Halloween sucks. They were always crazy. But we had an armed robbery of a cell phone store in the morning. It was in the morning. It was like 9:30 in the morning. The store just opened up. And these 2 dudes went in, and there was some girl, young girl, early 20s, working there by herself. It was in a shitty part of town. And they literally tied her up with like telephone cord around her wrists and her ankles. And they stole, it was like $800 or $785, whatever it was. But the feds ended up taking it because it was a T-Mobile. And they can kind of loop in the Commerce Act, like by saying it, because commerce was halted with other states, it becomes like a federal case. But the guys ran off, and the girl, it was like something out of a movie. It was all on video. She literally hopped over to the phone, all tied up with her ankles, and they put a gun to her head and everything. It was 2 firearms, and she was terrified. And she hopped over to the phone and like knocked it off with her head and was like calling for help.
At least she's in a phone store though. Like at least like.
But she was able to do that, and then it came in quick. So a couple of the guys from work, I worked with the best people on earth in Dorchester. They really were great cops, and they just kind of flood the area right away, and their descriptions going out. And one of the officers is actually one of my police academy classmates, ends up seeing these 2 guys walking down the street, and a description had been given out to clothing. They left like a trail of clothing down the street. They tried to drop everything and change their appearance.
It's hard to run and change at the same time.
Yeah, so they were just kind of, walking down the street, and really nice. It's actually a little teeny, there's a nice neighborhood in this bad section of town. So they kind of stuck out. But then he sees the trail of clothing, jackets and hats and shit left behind. So he called it in. These guys, one of them had on gloves, but the other one had Band-Aids and tape around his fingers so he wouldn't leave any fingerprints. And as the guys, everyone went up there, the patrolmen were talking to him, he notices them going like they're picking away to try to get the Band-Aids and tape off their hands. And then another officer in the area was searching. She's looking in trash cans, and she found the guns. And then someone found the money box. So it was that was a pretty good one.
It was an exciting one.
Yeah, it came together nicely. Everyone did so well together. Everyone was there at the right time to do the right thing. And then the feds took it, and they had serious criminal records, both of them. One of them been doing armed robberies all over the city. It was like the same guy hit like 5 or 6 places. So we were glad to get him. Because it was federal, they got like 20-something years each. One of their brothers was a truck driver, and that's how they got the guns. He was a cross-country truck driver, and he bought guns in Arizona and then brought them back here.
So that's what made it federal? Is that they were transporting guns across state lines?
I think they didn't end up prosecuting him because he basically testified against his brother.
But what made it what made the sentencing so severe?
Because they were, the way the feds do it in federal court is they basically add up, it's a point system, and depending on how many charges or cases, how many times you've been found guilty, then you're considered an armed career criminal. And you get extra time added on.
Oh, got it.
But yeah, for $785, they went to jail for like 20-something years each. It was crazy.
It's idiots.
Yeah,
And
pretty much. And that poor girl was terrified. I always felt bad for her.
Yeah. Oh, that would be so scary, dude. I don't know what I would do if someone did something like that, like pulled it, like, you know.
She didn't even want to identify them. We were trying to do we do a bring back or show up your bring, because we brought them to have her identify them. And she was like hiding behind the blinds in the store. Usually they'll have them like go out on the sidewalk and the person will like look through a car window, but she was literally hiding. She was absolutely terrified. The poor thing, she's crying and everything.
How important are fingerprints? Is that a real thing? How important is that when you were a detective?
Well, that's a real thing because everyone's are different.
Yeah.
So if you get found at a scene, whether it's a break-in or a robbery or something like that, and they find your fingerprints, well, what other excuse do you have for being there? So it's a pretty good, especially now people like in court, when cases go to court, they don't want witness identification. They want, because all the CSI shows, they think we all have this bags of evidence to show when it comes to court. So juries want to see forensics. They want fingerprints. They want like cell phone records. They want DNA left behind, because of the TV shows makes it look like that's left at every scene. But these guys covered their fingerprints. They had masks on, like they put, bandanas around their face. But the girl identified them from the clothes. One of them didn't have a mask on, but so fingerprints are definitely very important.
And what's the process of actually lifting fingerprints? What is that? And you hear the term lifting fingerprints.
So different surfaces use different tools. Like this surface, the grain of the wood would be no good. You need like a smooth surface. Mm-hmm. Like they train us on like granite, like countertops.
Oh yeah, granite's nice.
Yeah, it's very smooth. It's shiny. So if someone leaves a fingerprint, or whether you have dry or oily hands, you're leaving oil behind. And you could take your powder and you spin the little powder on like a smooth surface, and literally the fingerprint pops. And then you just take this kind of clear square of like sticky tape and then like press it down and then lift it up so it transfers onto, the outline transfers onto. There you go.
Can there be fingerprints in a place, like could you look at a counter or something and see nothing and there could actually be fingerprints there?
Yeah, you can kind of, if you use a flashlight, sometimes you can see it if it's a clean surface. If it's like a shithole house or filled, like bank robberies, we don't do fingerprints because so many people go up to every teller. Like even if a bank robber comes in and puts his hands down, there's 10,000 other fingerprints there from the people that came before you.
Right. So
we don't bother with something like that because you have to be able to show it's a suspect. So they won't like put it into the system to see who it even belongs to.
Could a surface be so dirty that then the print itself actually makes it clean in that, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, on dirty windows, we get those on a break-in when they push up a window and leave them behind, and you can literally see them because you can see sometimes they'll smear the dirt. Sometimes it's so dirty though, the dust won't adhere to it.
Got it. What's the person who picks up the fingerprints? What do they call that person?
Well, we do it. Detectives do it.
Detectives do it.
They do it in Boston, yeah.
Ooh.
Some in other places, like the crime scene tech will come out and other departments, but we do it ourselves. Unless it's like a major incident, like a homicide, then the homicide unit will call the forensic unit, and those are civilians. They're not police officers, but they have gone to school for that. So if it's like a major, like I said, a homicide or something, they'll call in the crime scene techs to do it. They don't want to mess with us.
And you ever have a day where it's just busy and like, oh shit, I got to get to my kid's birthday or whatever. I'm going to fucking we'll hope for the best on this when you take off.
Yeah, it sucks. Like your shift ends at 4:00 if you work days, and at 3:45, a person's stabbed. All right, I won't be home till midnight. So.
So you stay around. No,
you stay.
Oh yeah, I was saying like, if you ever had a thing where it's like, I got to get out of here, instead of doing the work, instead of dusting for these fingerprints, I'm gonna hit the road,
You can't do that.
You can't.
No, it's on you. If it's your case, if you're on call, we call it catch day in Boston. But detectives, like certain squads, are in charge of all those calls that day. So, 5 things could come in. We could get a shooting, a stabbing, an armed robbery, and missing person, and they're all assigned to you. But it's not that busy. But it can be. Right. You might have a day like you don't even go pee, you don't even eat lunch. I mean, it's few and far between, but it definitely happens.
Wow, so you're just cruising like that.
Yeah.
How much, you mentioned television a little bit ago, how much has television and what people think and expect, how much has that affected like the prosecution of cases?
Ruined it, absolutely destroyed it, yeah.
Really?
Because everyone has such high expectations. If they watch, CSI Miami or whatever the hell it is, and see they solve everything instantly, and they have cooperative witnesses, or they have all this piles of evidence. And like I said, people in regular juries and regular court cases expect, they literally come back with notes saying, why don't you have fingerprints? Why don't you have DNA? Like, why don't you have that? Well, not every case has that. Like I said, a bank robbery comes in, they don't touch the condo. We have no DNA. We have no fingerprints.
Like no semen either,
we have to go
surely.
on eyewitness identification, and videos now everywhere. Video's huge. Video's a huge help, but it's definitely the shows have been a detriment to prosecuting cases for sure.
So you think it's made that the shows have made it harder to prosecute cases?
Absolutely, because people have higher expectations. The juries do.
The juries do, and they're like, "Oh, there's not enough here."
Yes, they'll be like, "It's not. You don't have anything. Where is everything?"
Yeah.
It's like, "Well, we have we've got the video and we've got this and that." And like, no, so it's tricky. Yeah, it's not been our friend.
It's fascinating. It's fascinating because it kind of glorifies the sport of being a detective, but at the same time,
ruined it.
Yeah, damn. That's a lot of things happen like that. Once things get glorified so much, kind of they get ruined sometimes. I think that's just almost a general rule of things, it feels like, except for God, probably. Everybody knows there are things they can do to reduce monthly costs and improve their finances. But who has time to go through all their expenses and decide what to trim? Rocket Money can relieve some of that stress and help you feel confident in the financial decisions you make. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money's 5 million members have saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, with members saving up to $740 a year when they use all of the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/Theo today. That's rocketmoney.com/THEO. rocketmoney.com/Theo. Blue Chew, baby, you know it. Get on it, Blue Chew. Blue Chew is that upgrade button for your sex life. Chewable tablets that deliver stronger, harder, longer-lasting erections without the hoops. No waiting rooms, no pharmacy lines, no people trying to tickle you while you're trying to just manage your own life. Just a quick online visit, and once approved by a licensed medical provider, Blue Chew sends the chews straight to your door. Guys, if you've been thinking about it, now is the time to try Blue Chew with your first month free. Yep, free. Great sex is just a few clicks away. Make life easier by getting harder and discover your options at BlueChew.com. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try your first month of Blue Chew free when you use promo code Theo. Just pay $5 shipping. That's promo code Theo. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. You always hear like the show's The First 48, right? And my friend Chris D'Elia, he's a comedian. He has this great joke. He's like, the first 48, and I'm paraphrasing. He's like, the first 48, it's like these detectives have 48 hours to solve the crime, but really they have as much time as they want. Yeah,
right? They do. We do. So sometimes you're waiting on video. Like it doesn't, obviously, if you don't have a suspect like right away, but if you work at it, sometimes the evidence is out there. You just have to find it. It might not slap you in the face at 10 minutes after the incident.
Right. But do you really only have 48 hours?
No, we have all the time you need, except it gets busy. And if I have, 3 cases that day, and if like I got to work on it, and then 2 days from now, I get another big one that like a shooting or a stabbing or whatever, now your attention is split. So time is of the essence because something else is always going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Something's coming, and whether you have a leisurely amount of time to work on the case, like then you're working overtime, then you're working a double to try to stay and work on this case because another one could come in tomorrow. Wow. So it is, this point to it, like the 40 hours are important, but I think more so because something else is coming. So it's going to take the attention away, and then you can only be in so many places at once. You know what I mean? You can't.
God. I never thought about that part of it. How do you prioritize what cases are most important?
I mean, obviously, like if someone gets shot or stabbed, like that's a violent crime, and you want that person who, it's more defendant-based. Like the kind of person that's going to do that, you want them
off the streets.
Right.
Right.
And, right. And if, compared to, Identity fraud. Well, that's not an emergency. That can wait. You know what I mean? So those kind of because we get a ton of fraud. That's check fraud and all that shit, bank fraud is a nightmare because it's a lot of the times it's not even taking place. We have our victims in our city, but suspects are all over the country or all over the world.
Yeah.
So you can't prosecute them.
Yeah.
So it's hard to chase down. So those are kind of, to the victim, it's not a lower priority. They're the one that had their money stolen or whatever.
Of course.
It's not the same as being shot or stabbed or
having a criminal that's out there.
Violent armed robbery or something like that.
We got to find this guy now because obviously they're in heat for crime.
Yes, exactly.
Wow. So are there days when you kind of get to the end of your shift almost and you look and you're like, oh my God, there's still that one missing person I didn't reach out about, or there's still this one thing.
There's always a pile.
And now I have to go do that.
Yeah.
Oh.
You very rarely get to go home at the end of your shift. You're always staying.
And what's that effect like on your home life? Like, were you able to have kind of a home life? Like, what was that like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it makes it trickier for sure. You need help at home. It definitely makes it more difficult.
And were you able to have a family stuff? Do you have children?
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, your daughter's here.
My daughter's here.
Oh, nice. I forgot. Yeah. I didn't forget, but I think I just didn't know if she wanted to say it or not, maybe too. So, yeah. How do you manage that? How, was that?
It's tricky. It was difficult.
It was.
I'm not gonna lie. It was hard. Yeah. Because then you expect to come home. I get you to help them with a project, or you just got to make supper, and you have to call and be like, I'm not gonna make it. Someone got stabbed, or I got to stay late. A lot of times, you're gonna be like, okay, those days I know I can stay late because I have coverage with the kids or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's not easy. I'm sure.
But at least you had a good excuse.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't out, getting my nails done or getting shit faced, but
I'm getting my nails done, or I'm getting
I'm working.
Yeah. At least it wasn't like, I'm drinking or something, or Euclid is on third base. I can't, I'm not going to be home on time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you start to see where family life suffers? Do you see it like, because that's also a common theme in a lot of like police serial programming and films and stuff, where the detective is working late and then there's the family thing starts to suffer,
I mean, I'm sure it did, but like I said, you kind of figure it out. You make it work. You do what you can. Like I was a detective in a busy part of the city, and that's why I transferred to the Human Trafficking Unit, because that was like a Monday through Friday job, not a rotating schedule. Because I worked holidays. We worked every Christmas. You got a holiday off every 6 years. So, but you'd get all the holidays off that year. So that year you're getting, excuse me, you're getting Easter, excuse me, please, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. You'll get all the biggies off. But then it's 6 more years until you get another one. Wow. So I went to human trafficking.
Drink some water real quick if you don't mind. You're good.
Horrific.
Sorry, miss. You are a detective. I don't want to tell you what to do anything. Thank you for your service. That's what I'm saying. So it's 6. So wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
So that time you get to spend with your family, it's really crucial.
Yeah, especially holidays, But if you're working different shifts, if you're working the midnight shift, you can kind of go home and sleep for a couple hours and then, meet everybody at Thanksgiving. So that's how Boston worked. Obviously, different cities do different things. We just had 6 squads rotating days off. But some units, like the Human Trafficking Unit, is Monday through Friday. So it's a little more normal if you have young kids or a family and you want to be a regular person, as I call it, and have Saturday and Sunday off like everybody else. Those units are better for something like that.
Got it. And I know you ended up in that unit. I want to talk to you about that in just a second. Take me through a couple more detective calls that were interesting to you or that really stood out.
I'd say my joke was always going to be that I was going to write a book, and the name of it was going to be Dick on the Sidewalk and Other Stories from the Street. The last few years I was a detective, I got like 3 of the craziest cases of my life in year 31. We had the guy cut off his own dick and threw it on the sidewalk.
Oh, for what?
Because he was crazy. He was mentally ill, but we don't know any of this. So the call came in the morning. I was on the way in. It was early in the morning. It was cold out. I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
I have the radio on, and I hear the dispatcher call a car and then start to laugh. And then she says, disregard. We don't know what's happening. So I'm driving to the station, and then a call comes in again, sending a different car, because it was like the midnight shift ending. Sending a different car, hey, can you go to this location? Someone said there's a piece of male anatomy on the sidewalk. And we were all laughing. We just thought it was a dildo. We thought it was a joke. That's why the dispatcher was laughing.
You just thought it was like a WNBA game or whatever.
Exactly. It wasn't green. Call comes in like 10 minutes later, and my detective that I was working with at the time looked it up on the computer to see the text of the call. What does this actually say? And then we saw that the caller was from a nearby health center. And it said there's, appears to be a penis on the ground. There's blood everywhere. We're like, oh, shit, that's not fake. So the patrolman,
that's real.
The patrolmen go up there. And so that's our starting point. We don't know anything else. And literally there it is. I wasn't there yet. The patrolmen see it on the sidewalk and there's a blood trail. So they start following the blood trail. And it went a long way, several hundred yards.
What?
And it gets worse and worse. So that's how it starts. So that's our starting point. And the patrolmen follow the blood trail. And then they're following it up the stairs of this 3-family house. It's like 3 apartments in one house. And the blood gets bigger and bigger. They knock on the door. This guy opens the door, completely naked. A hole where his used to be. And he's just standing there, not talking. And they're like, hey, buddy, you okay? And he's just like, he doesn't speak. He just stares at them. So that they were newer guys. I felt so bad for them. That's a tough call. They weren't brand new, obviously, but that's a lot for young guys to see this, right? So
just see some cock down the street or whatever.
Why don't you come in and sit down? So and turns out it was like a group home for mentally ill people, but there was no staff members or anything there. So there's 3 people in the house. It is a bloodbath. There's blood everywhere in the bedroom, the floor, the sink was full of it.
Oh.
So they find that and they get on the radio and they're like, get us an ambulance, whatever, because we don't know how does someone alive, right? So he's alive. So I got called and me and another detective, my boss, went down and it's on the sidewalk and they're taking photographs or whatever. And they call, once the ambulance finds out he's alive, they just assume somebody had bled out somewhere and was dead or someone did it to somebody else. He's like, no, I did it. Like, oh shit, okay.
So he's being honest.
Yeah, but he's just completely and utterly mentally. At some other point, he'd cut off his own nipples. He said to let the devil out. So the poor thing was very mentally ill. He was young, early 20s. So once the EMTs find out this person's alive, now they want to try to collect it to see if they can reattach it at the hospital.
Yeah.
So we had done our photos. I actually have a video of this whole thing. I pulled video from the street, nearby surveillance video. That's how I know kind of everything after the fact. They come down to reattach it, and we had just done the photos. I didn't look directly at it. I can do.
Never stare into it.
You do like a weird blurring. It's almost like when someone blurs out somebody's face and wearing a bit. That's what your brain does. You're like, I don't want to see that.
Yeah, I want to see all of it.
It was big. It was nasty. So they try to come down to take it off the sidewalk. He goes to pick it up.
And what are they using, a spatula or whatever?
No, he had gloves on. He was using his hand. And he had this weird,
that guy's a pervert.
Clear cylinder. He was an EMT. He had this cylinder thing he was going to put it in.
Like one of those bank. Remember at the bank you would put that check in the thing and send it back up there through that.
Literally like that. So he goes to pick it up, and it's been so cold. He's tugging it, and it was frozen to the sidewalk.
No way. Like that guy from Christmas Story. Bring that up.
But like his tongue, that's what happened to the poor guy.
Bring that up real quick because people forget that can happen. Oh, yeah. Oh, and let's get just to give us a descriptive visual. What kind of wiener are we talking about? And if your wiener's, I don't know if it's still, what kind of wiener side, because that's just a sidewalk wiener. What kind of wiener are we talking about?
It's big.
It was.
It was big and it looked purple.
Ooh.
It was a black guy and it almost looked purple.
Ooh.
But he went to tug it, and because it froze, he gave it a second tug. And then he didn't let go of it. It went in the air. And this thing came out. I don't know if it was his urethra. I don't know what the fuck it was. I compared later to a balloon streamer came flying out the end.
Oh, that's some party
and
confetti,
baby. And I just turned and dry heaved into the street. I've never thrown up at the job. I've never done it. I dry heaved into the street. I was like, what the fuck? And some young patrolman who was there, and this is all on video, he's in his uniform, and he does this little kicky, uncomfortable dance because he's like, oh my God, that was horrific.
Oh, he couldn't handle it like that?
No, exactly. And then later I pulled the video from the street. We're like, how did this get there? How did this guy get back to the house? He had cut it off several hours before in the house, walked down the street, and he's completely naked. Nobody called police. This is the best part. There's people going to work. It's 3 or 4 in the morning. Busy street. Driving down the street. He's completely naked. No one called 911. And he's walking down the street, and I have a video of it. He leans over. He'd cut it, but it wasn't off altogether.
Oh.
So he leans down.
Wow, bro. That's that. Whoa.
Tugs
that's
it,
that Memphis.
and then threw it on the sidewalk.
No. Oh.
So
wait, tell me that part again. He what?
So I'm watching the
So
video.
he leans. Tell me that part again.
So I'm watching the video and try to find him. Like, what time did this happen? And you just see this form. It's dark. And he's completely naked, walking down the street. And all of a sudden, he leans over. I'm like, what's he doing? And he's in the direction. It's kind of from the side. Direction of his crotch. You see his arm move like a tug. And then he just fucking threw it. And I remember when I pulled the video, I didn't know this had happened. I watched it, and I pushed my chair back from the desk and screamed. I was like, what the fuck? The worst part is he came, so if you could believe something's worse, he came back about a half an hour later. He walked like a mile. They said that's what saved him, why he didn't bleed to death. It was so cold, it coagulated the blood, so he didn't bleed to death. He came back, and he's walking down the street, and as he sees it, he walks over to it and gets down on all fours and leaned over and kissed it.
Nuh-uh.
And then got up and walked away. I thought he was going to eat it like a dog bone, honest to God. I was like, what is happening? What is happening? He bent down, gave it a smooch, and got up and walked home.
Oh, God.
It was fucking crazy.
Oh, my God.
The poor bastard.
Oh, let me tell, because I got to go through a couple beats of that story. And dear God, let me just say that out loud so God knows that we're just alarmed by this.
Yeah.
First of all, the fact that he cut it and it was just hanging there.
He didn't do the job.
Just like a piece of Memphis mistletoe just hanging there. That's so wild.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Like mistletoe at a Diddy party or
crazy.
something, dude. And then he tugged it off. I can't even imagine.
Gives it a tug.
Because you've read like a little hangnail when you pull it off.
Kills.
Ugh.
And this is like, there's a lot of nerve endings down there.
That's the ultimate hangnail.
Yeah.
That's the most
That should be the name of my chapter, not on the sidewalk. The ultimate hangnail.
That's the most hangiest nail that there is. When you said that, it got so visceral, I think, for me, and I'm sure for anybody listening.
Most men get the same reaction when you tell them.
And then I wonder what flew out of it. Pull that up on Perplexity, because I'm thinking that's just a little.
You know what it looked like in the photo and when I saw it come out? You know what like sausage casing looks like before there's a sausage in it? It's almost like skinny, opaque kind of almost... I don't know how else to describe it. It's like kind of gray and translucent. It was like a little smaller than my pinky, and this thing just flew out. I just could not even. Yeah,
that's just a little wiener funfetti, homie. Let's look at no, give me a gander at it, man. I'm trying to get a gander. Yeah, let's look at the. But let's look at the parts here because it's fascinating to know what is that.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck it was.
That's a vagina. Oh no, that's a wiener.
Oh,
sorry.
Come on, man.
These days you can't tell. The other day, my buddy showed me a picture of his naked wife. She has a wiener, and I was like, all right, well, that's a surprise.
Yeah, maybe it's the urethra. Yes, because see, the urethral opening goes down to the end. That's what it was.
God, boy.
Yeah, it was dicey. That was a dicey. And I remember when we got the call, and I remember standing over it, thinking like, where did I go wrong in my fucking life that it's 7:45 in the morning and I'm looking at someone's dick on the goddamn sidewalk?
You know?
I was like, wait, what did I do? What did I do to deserve this?
It's a question as old as time.
You know?
It really is.
Poor bastard.
I think a lot of women have asked themselves things like that overall. You know?
No shit.
Just, you know? And in hindsight, how does that even follow up? Do you guys keep that in evidence? Or
no, they tried to reattach it at the hospital. So they rushed him to the hospital with it, and they did attach it, but it didn't take. It was like a month later they had to like take it off. Yeah.
Imagine that month. Oh, my God.
It's funny because of the group home, we were trying to find out what is this kid's story? What's his name? Because the other kid in the house was not with it at all. Couldn't even, he was just sitting there playing video games. Well, it was like a bloodbath. So we're like.
It's hard to get the kids off the games.
Right. So, but these guys, they're like 20s. So I call the supervisor of the group home, and I was trying to get some information. He's like, oh, we're trying to find him an in-house, a placement in a hospital or a psych ward because he's been exposing his penis in group classes or whatever, in group meetings. And I said, well, you're late. You're a little late because he cut it off and threw it on the side with the guy's like, what? Like you could tell he shit himself because that's his house. Someone's supposed to be supervising.
Yes, obviously somebody's supposed to be there.
Someone failed.
Making sure at the very least someone's not lopping off their own wiener.
Yeah.
And I can't even imagine the month wait to know if it's going to take or not, you know?
I don't think he cared.
But still, just as I think
he was obviously crazy. I mean, I know that's not the technical.
But you don't think he cared why?
I mean, he cut off to begin with. He said he was letting the devil out. Like he's just extremely mentally ill, and I don't think he even
kind of. I mean, I think there's a part of a lot of people that think the devil lives inside of their genitalia. For some people,
yeah. And I said, he cut his nipples off. He like carved something in his forehead. Like this poor kid was really messed up.
It's heartbreaking that people go through so much, and But I can't imagine that month where you're waiting to see, right? Like the bandages on.
It's almost doing it. Like, how do you
I can't
sit there and saw it off? And he did it.
Did he use a saw? Now let's ask.
No, it's just a big long kitchen knife. But it was as dull as dishwater. It was in some shitty group home. Like, it's not some nice Henkel's knife. You know what I mean? I'm sure.
Well, it's not like Hanzo scissors. He was.
It was
using
like
something.
some plastic handled shitty kitchen knife. It was like this long.
You got to see the knife?
Yeah, we were up in the apartment.
Was it a basic like knife you get like if you made your kids dinner, you give them a knife for your husband dinner?
No, not a steak knife. Like a little bit longer. Like it would come in your knife block for like carving
serrated or whatever?
I don't remember that.
God, please.
I don't think it was serrated.
I hope it was. Otherwise.
Serrated might be more jagged.
But I think you would get it done pretty quicker. I don't know if we can. I mean, the more we talk
God
about this.
only knows how long he was working at it because the whole bedroom. So the kid I was working with, thank God he had been in the crime scene unit. So he would go into scenes all the time. Like he put on Tyvek suit to go in because there's so much blood.
Oh.
We go stepping through it.
Oh, the wiener holds a lot, baby. That's the Lord's spigot.
The Lord had lots that day.
God, boy, you definitely. God. And who was the other kid? Just some honky sitting there playing Double Dragon or something?
He was sitting there. It was like a grown man with his legs crossed. Like, so that's weird, the crisscross applesauce scene.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there like we were talking like, hey, do you know what happened? He's just like trying to look past us, like, because we're in the way of his game.
We're like, a game?
All right, this guy's not going to
What game was it? Do you remember it all?
I don't know. I was concentrating on other shit.
Wow.
Yeah, he's literally just trying to look around us.
I bet it was one player. They didn't have a lot of two-player games at that time. Wow. Oh my God. But the worst, imagine you're waiting, they wrap your wiener, they do the repackaging, and I bet at that point it's almost like the Masked Singer. You're just waiting, they take it off, and you're seeing like, okay, what do we have here?
Did this work? Yeah. What's the result?
Yeah. Do we have a Shaquille O'Neal here? Do we have a Muggsy Bogues here? I think you're just waiting to see
what you're going to end up with.
Oh, that must have been horrible. The big reveal, and they're like, move that bus. And then the bus takes off and your cock doesn't work, dude.
Yeah.
That's the freaking worst. God. I hate that.
That was a day.
I hate that. Oh, that's harrowing.
That was one.
That's harrowing. And it's cold out. Was it so cold outside? Was it hard to stand outside? Was it that cold?
It'd be crazy. Weren't outside that long once we took the photos, and when the EMT came down and collected it, there wasn't else much to do at that scene. So then we went up to the house, and it wasn't cold in there. We were outside for maybe an hour, 45 minutes. I don't even remember. Because it wasn't like 20 below.
Right. But it was chilly, right?
Yeah, it was cold.
But the part for me, I think that would be the wildest is, say you are, you're so cold, you run out there, you're looking at the cock, and then it gets too cold, you got to run back into your car and warm up.
No, there was no running back and to get warm.
And you're like texting, like, all right, let's meet out there again in 30 seconds. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're having to battle the cold so much.
No, not at that case.
And you're like, oh, yes. It's a black cock. And you have to go sit back in your car. Like, that's the part that would get, having to build up stay warm out there. No. God. That's insane, dude.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy.
And it is. And that's the kind of shit. It's like, you're sitting there and then you're watching your kiddo blow out some birthday candles or something.
You go from that to something else. Oh, that was a day.
Yeah.
We went out for drinks after work that day.
Oh, yeah.
We were like, we're going out tonight.
Yeah, I'll have a black and tan, huh? That's what I'm saying, dude. I love some Johnny Walker.
Yeah.
There was another story to pivot. I know that you had mentioned whenever our producer Nick had reached out to you. And thank you so much for coming.
Of course.
I want to say thank you so much. You look lovely today, too. It's a really great outfit. Who chose that? You did?
I did.
Yeah. You did a great job.
Thank you.
There was a story you talked about finding someone had left a child.
Someone put a baby in a trash can. And I preface this right away by saying the baby lived, the baby was fine.
Okay.
But that call came in for patrolman. There was like a senior housing on our district, and there was a gentleman who lived there, an elderly man, and he had someone who used to come and clean his house for him. And he called 911 because he said someone just had a baby in his house and then left with it in a bag, and it was crying. So the patrolman goes to the call, and he goes up and talks to him. The apartment is pristine. There's no sign of a baby being born. He said she was in the bathroom. He's like, nothing happened.
Nobody had a baby in here.
So the officer called an ambulance for a psych eval, saying, is this guy, the old man, something's wrong, or he maybe has dementia. Just wanted to check on him, make sure he's okay. So as the ambulance is pulling up, again, I have this on video. That's how I remember the sequence. The ambulance pulls up and pulls in. There was like a horseshoe driveway, and they pull in the driveway. And just as they're doing that, a girl is walking down the street, maybe 50, 60 feet away, maybe a little more from the apartment. And it's a very busy street in Dorchester. It's Dorchester Ave. And she's walking on the street, and there's a wrought iron trash can in the street. And she walks by, and she hears something. She thought it was like someone put puppies or something in the trash. She hears something crying. She sees the ambulance, goes running over and waves them down and says, I think there's a baby or something in the trash can.
Wow.
So the EMT comes walking down the street. You could tell he thinks she's full of shit by the way he's walking. There's no urgency.
Right, everybody in this neighborhood's full of shit.
There's no urgency to his gait. He's just like, okay, because they inundated with calls. They are buried all day long. He's like, all right, we're here for this, but
we
okay.
got a haunted trash
he
can
goes
or whatever.
walking over.
Typical shit.
He goes in.
The typical haunted trash can in Dorchester.
He goes in, and you can see his reaction. He picks it out, and then it's crazy activity. He puts it on you could see, this was all in the video, but you can't see exactly. You could see insane movement. All of a sudden, he's on the air. And at the same time, the officer who was up in the house said, like, what's the ETA on my ambulance? He never showed up. And at the same time, the girl had called 911 and said, there's a baby crying in a trash can. So this is all kind of happening at once. So then we all go flying up there when they're like, yeah, there's a baby. We don't have a mother. We don't know what's going on. The woman... I spoke to the gentleman in the house. He said it was his cleaning woman. He had a different name for her that wasn't her real name because we're trying to track her down. Like, is she bleeding out somewhere? Is she hurt? Does she need help? What is the story?
Yeah, she just had a child maybe.
So he said she was in the bathroom for a couple hours. He thought she had stomach problems. And then she asked him, do you have a pair of scissors? And then she asked him for a bag. And then, because I interviewed him, me and my partner, and he said she walked out of the bathroom, and she had like a big tote bag with her, like her purse. And the baby was in the bag, and he could hear her crying. He's like, what's that? Is that a baby crying? She's like, oh, this is nothing.
Yeah, I just
and then walked out the door
dump or whatever.
So
that's crazy.
Then on the video, you can see her walking down the street, and there's people coming toward her. And there's a gentleman passing her just as she gets to the trash can. She waits for him. And as he goes past, she looks around, pulls it out, and goes right in the trash can. So turns out she had gone in there, had the baby. She was in her 30s. She wasn't a kid. It's like she wasn't not mentally ill. She just didn't plan on keeping the baby. She had the baby. How alone, I do not know. And then cleaned the bathroom. That's why it was so pristine.
When people think of women, like, that's the power. I mean, women, it's just like.
How she did that, I do not know. She sat in the tub and had a baby with no help.
Women are powerful, man. And then to clean up the bathroom.
Cleaned it up.
Thing. But she also is a cleaning lady. I can understand,
That's why it was so nice. Yeah, when the crime
lab. But also
lab,
she, I guess, has to hide her, right? I guess so.
Yeah.
Did you determine that she's mentally unwell?
No,
or what do you
she was
determine?
fine.
It's so
she
heartbreaking.
just didn't want the baby.
She did not want the baby.
But we don't know any of this at the time.
Got
it. All we have is a phone number. She signed in on the log at the senior housing, and she put a phone number down. And one of the patrolmen working at the scene, they blocked off the street. There were like helicopters overhead. This was like news. It was on the news. And one of the officers who was blocking the street, the traffic, we all get the phone number, and he starts looking through reports because he's sitting there blocking the street. He starts looking through reports because we don't have the right name. That guy gave us the wrong name, like the wrong age. He said she's a girl. She was in her 30s.
Yeah.
To him, she was a girl because he's in his 80s.
He's a pervert, too.
So,
I'm not judging him. I don't know him.
He said she's a good-looking girl, so maybe you're right. The officer, the patrolman starts looking through reports and finds a phone number attached to a different name. So then we start looking we find a driver's license. Like this, again, all took like over an hour because there's a lot going on, and headquarters is calling, and everybody's like, this is huge, So this kid finds the woman's real name and phone number, and they start pinging the phone. So it turned out after she put the baby in the can, walked down the street and got on the trolley, took the T back to Mattapan, the train station, and then got on a train or a bus and went to her house in Milton. So we knew what her address was while she's in transit. They're following the ping, and she's like moving through the city. And then my supervisor and a couple of detectives, at least one, met her at the house with an ambulance. So like this lady, we don't know what's going on with her. So they met her at the house and said like, hey, you got to go to the hospital. Are you okay? Like, what's going on? They went in the house. She had like rented a small in-law or something in the house. They said there were no baby items. It was full-term baby. There was no crib. There was no diapers. There was nothing. So it was she did not plan on keeping this baby. She had no intentions of doing that. Obviously, she didn't have a single thing in the house. But they took her to the hospital. She was fine. They kept her in the hospital for a few days. But I mean, she literally tied the bag in a knot, like she tried to kill the baby.
Oh.
And that girl who walking by saved it because it was cold that day. She saved that. She saved that baby.
That's unbelievable.
It might never have been found. Like the city comes and dumps those trash cans. That baby's gone.
The odds that the girl happened to be walking by and hear it.
Yeah.
And do they repartner that child and that mother?
Well, I think she tried to kill it, so I don't know. The homicide unit came and took the case. Why, I don't know, because the baby lived. But it's obviously a biggie, so they ended up taking it. It took 4 years to go through court. It was during COVID. I remember people wearing masks when it was on the news. But it took 4 years to wind its way through court. No jail time. I'm like, that's attempted murder. She tried to kill that baby. There's nothing wrong with her. She wasn't a scared 16-year-old. You know what I mean? She was just, her defense attorney tried to say that it was cultural. And I'm like, do people throw babies in trash cans in her culture? What the fuck kind of...
Was it a black or Asian Mexican girl?
She was Haitian. She was from Haiti. Like, that's not cultural. Oh, shit, there she is.
Mother who allegedly abandoned newborn in trash bin in Dorchester charged with attempted murder.
Yep, that's her. She didn't serve any time.
No way.
She got probation. Yeah, we weren't very happy with that.
Well, yeah, because you're just like the psychology of that person that's out in the world. How could they value life?
Yeah, she doesn't. At least not that life.
Yeah, and how could you probably value one of the most precious lives? Unless maybe there was some, I wonder if there was an extreme circumstance of how she had that child, but...
We weren't told. We were in communication with the DA. They never told us other than it being cultural. We're like, what the fuck culture is that? That's not a culture anywhere.
Yeah. Well, the media likes to make it easy.
Yeah. But I think it took so long because court cases were just dragging on because nobody worked during COVID except us or whatever. I think everyone just gets tired of it and wants to go away. I don't know. Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, stuff like that's harrowing, I don't know how you can, I don't think there's a way to shed that skin if you're a police officer or a detective. Even though it may seem superficial, like in some ways you could just move on and finish your day, there's got to be a part of you inside of you that stores a lot of that uncomfort and
sure. I mean, it's
illness. It's got to be.
You kind of, I'd say you learn how to deal with it. I dealt with things better years on my job than I did when I was new. Stuff that used to upset me. You have to. It's your brain's safety mechanism so you don't lose your goddamn mind. What I mean? You learn how to. That's why cops laugh at murder scenes. It's tension release. We're not laughing at a murder scene. People are trying to talk and say, okay, lads, everything's normal here. You know what I mean?
When Brad White was in, he was
brain's
saying,
on the street, and you're like, so what are you going to get for lunch later? We have to do something to distract your brain, and you get better at it.
Yeah, that's this officer that we had in who came in was talking about, he worked in Los Angeles, and he talked about this one story where a mother had called, her son was going to commit suicide. She was worried. And he gets there, and the mother comes out to greet him, tell him what's going on. My son's inside. While they're outside talking, the son kind of steps into the doorway, behind a screen door kind of, and takes his own life with a shotgun.
Oh, right? Shit. Shotgun's messy, man.
So then now he's standing out here with the mother. So he has to console the mother at the same time and now go approach his situation.
Right. So you have to do many, you're like, oh shit, I just saw someone blow their head off with a shotgun, and the mother's screaming and on the ground, I'm sure. But yet it's still not a crime scene.
But it's an active situation.
It's an active scene. You have to lock it down, and so there's a lot. They're chaotic, and especially if you're alone, there's only one or two and there's a lot going on. They're very chaotic.
Yeah, I can't even imagine how things go from seeming real and normal to absolutely surreal. In a moment, almost like you're in a movie or a video game. I remember he said he walked into he had to push, the door wouldn't open all the way because the body was right there.
The body's too heavy. Yeah, you have to push him out of the way.
So he's pushing this, and then he steps inside, and part of the brain matter had hit the ceiling, and it fell down the back of his shirt.
Oh, I think this is a Vegas guy. This was the Vegas sergeant. I think I saw that on your podcast.
Well, I think Brad, he may have been in Vegas for a bit. He may have been in LA, I believe. Okay. But
it's gross. I've stepped in that. How do you, like you said, how do you?
Really?
There he is.
Oh, no, it wasn't him. That was Chris Curtis.
Yeah.
This other guy was Brad White. But just fascinating story. But just hear it, I don't think nobody else goes to work and has this horror movie that can happen once in a while.
Police, EMTs, fire. That's kind of it. Yeah.
Yeah. College football fans deserve the Sonic Smasher, made with 2 hand-smashed Angus beef patties, melty cheese, and Smasher sauce. And for a limited time, when you order one delicious Sonic Smasher in the Sonic app, you get a free large drink. Oh, that's pretty much the burger equivalent of signing a 5-star receiver and landing a superstar QB in the transfer portal in the same off season. Sounds like Angus beef and a playoff appearance is in your school's future. You know what I mean? The Sonic Smasher. Order one in the Sonic app and get a free large drink. This month only. See app for details. Live free. Eat Sonic. Is pornography causing a problem in your life? Do you find yourself watching porno for longer periods of time and having trouble stopping? Is porn affecting your relationship or dating life? Well, you're certainly not alone. Watching pornography has become so commonplace today, and oftentimes men use porn to numb the pain of loneliness, boredom, anxiety, and depression. Shame and stigma prevent men from talking about these issues and getting help for them. I want to introduce you to my friend Steve. Steve is the founder of Valor Recovery, a program to help men overcome porn abuse and sexual compulsivity. Steve is a long-term sexual recovery member and has personally overcome the emotional and spiritual despair of abusing pornography and has dedicated his life to empowering men to do the same. Steve is an amazing person, and he is a close friend of mine. I mean that. Valor Recovery helps men to develop the tools necessary to have a healthier sex life. Their coaches are in long-term recovery and will be your partner, mentor, and spiritual guide to transcend these problematic behaviors. To learn more about Valor Recovery, please visit them at www.valorrecoverycoaching.com or email them at admin@valorrecoverycoaching.com. Thank you. How much does the DA, you mentioned having a DA, what is that like? Do police work better under certain mayoral and district attorney leadership?
Yeah.
They do? What's that whole relationship like? Like, break it down for me what that's like.
Well, obviously things are very politically charged right now, more so than they've been in the past, I think, in my experience. So it depends on if your mayor is supportive or not. Historically, I mean, I had several mayors on in 31 years as a police officer, and some are more supportive than others. And some DAs get elected that are just like, oh, we're not going to make vandalism's no longer a crime. Larceny is no longer a crime. Shoplifting is no longer a crime. Well, the people in the stores are still calling us when someone's stealing $10,000 worth of shit, but the DA's like, not prosecuting. So now that's why shit's locked up in all these stores. It's the DAs who are like, whether it's the Soros DAs or whoever the fuck they are that got elected that are softer on crime or whatever, that's your job as a district attorney to prosecute crimes. And those are state laws on the books. So if those laws are still on the books, then why aren't you prosecuting it? So that's why shit is locked up in CVS, because people can indiscriminately steal all over the country. They're not getting prosecuted. We had one guy, it was him and his brother doing it. They were like 2-man wrecking team. Every CVS and Walmart, Walgreens, we added up just like one kid in 1 month. It was like $30,000 worth of shit he stole. Now, how is Target or CVS recouping that? They're not. That's gone. But the DA's under doesn't care. So if you have right now, there's a good DA in Boston, I think, and he's doing more to make, working with the officers as a team. Like, we're on the same team here. We're just trying to prosecute criminals and help victims. And if, the DA is not supportive of that, like, what about all those victims whose houses are getting broken into or their properties vandalized?
Yeah.
And the DA is like, yeah, we're not going to prosecute that crime anymore. Well, what about the people whose shit's getting stolen and ruined or whatever? Like,
Right,
don't you care about them?
Right. And don't you care about how they feel then about their city and about their country?
Yeah.
And then you guys are the ones that have to deal with it on the street level.
Oh, everyone hates us.
They take it out on you, but still, if someone hates the mayor, they take it out on the police. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and you guys kind of can't probably speak up on it sometimes because you're in a position where you're working under that regime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think about that about the border too sometimes with like, you know, people illegally coming across the border. And then people can have whatever thoughts they want about people coming over, right? I think everybody needs to be legally documented that's here, however they figure that out. But but the people that matter whose opinion matters most to me are the people who live right. What about the guy right there?
What about the border town?
Who's trying to put his kids to sleep at night and they want to be able to feel safe that just because they bought a house somewhere, that there's not people running through their neighborhoods, whether those people have good intentions or bad, but just with the fear that it puts in their families.
Yes,
you know?
exactly. It's all quality of life stuff. It's all quality of life issues, and they don't seem to get that because it doesn't bother them if they're living in some, you know, multi-million-dollar house somewhere or a nicer part of the city or state. It's not happening around them. Like you said, the people in the border towns, they don't have a choice. Yeah,
it's especially what about the guy who's worked at CVS for 20 years and he loves it, right? And he loves seeing people come in and he loves like that's something he knows some of the older people. He's watched them get older and come in and get their medicine. He's watched one of them lose their spouse over the years and now they come in alone. But he's like a smile in their life once in a while when they come in. And now he has to be a deterrent to crime.
Yeah, like they come in with trash bags.
Yeah. Oh, it's unbelievable.
And literally just clear the shelf. They go and sell all their stolen shit at like the smaller bodegas and convenience stores. So when they steal all the detergent and, you know, all that, they steal and baby formula. That's been locked up for years. They go and sell it someplace else.
I mean,
and
the
bodegas is buying it off them. They know it's stolen shit, so they're at fault too.
Yeah.
But like I said, the employee. What about him? Like, he doesn't want to do that when he goes to work.
No. And then he's
not a cop. He doesn't want to do that.
He's not a cop.
Yeah, he doesn't want to chase people.
Yeah, that's the thing. They've made it so that almost every person has to feel like a cop. And then also that that there's not a lot of support out there. And that's a sick thing. And our government does that from the top down. And I believe that there is a reason they do that. They want to erode a sense of community and they want to erode a sense of normalcy. And they're doing it.
Yeah.
You know? Who's the mayor that they have now over there that's been supportive, do you feel like, Kara?
We haven't had a supportive mayor. That's the DA, Kevin Hayden. He's supportive. Okay. Our mayor, I don't.
Hayden, boy, out of Newton, huh? What's Newton like? Is it good over there?
Newton's a very, very nice city outside. It's a different city than Boston.
Down in Newton over there. I definitely caught some.
Newton's high end.
Newton is?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Newton.
It's big money to live in Newton.
Fig Newton, they call it, huh?
It's big money to live there.
Oh, God, look at that. Bunch of people probably.
Yeah, he's from there. I think he lives in the city now. He's Suffolk County. He's not attached to the city. He's Suffolk County.
Over
there. But our prior DA was atrocious.
I bet every kid over there has a signed Tom Brady football, huh? That's that kind of place.
Well, he lived in Chestnut Hill, which is part of Brookline and Newton. It's like all sandwiched right in that neighborhood there.
TV12,
he lived in Chestnut Hill.
Yeah, I bet all those kids have that, dude. Yeah, how has the DA support been over the years? So this is a district attorney now?
Yeah, he's good.
Was he during your term?
He was there when I retired, yeah.
He was appointed by Charlie Baker, preceded by Rachel Rollins.
Yeah, thumbs down on her.
Oh, she was another district attorney?
Yeah.
And now, so she
became a U.S. attorney under Biden, and then she was, I believe, fired from U.S. attorney with some ethics violation or some such.
Oh, Biden would hire anybody. He was asleep. You fucking dude.
Well,
yeah, he was fucking, dude would hire Fred Flintstone to fucking
sing him to bed at night. Thought she was a good fit. So I'm sorry. She resigned before she was canned.
Rachel Rollins was not formally fired, but resigned from her position in May 2023 following multiple ethics investigations. And I don't know exactly what happened here, but what's it like from one DA to like how can a DA
she's the one that decided we weren't going to prosecute larcenies, shoplifting, vandalism, the minor crimes. And she used to say those aren't right. Those aren't. I forget what verbiage was used. It was like they're not victimless crime, but they're trying to say that. No, they're not. Even if it's CVS or Target, a big corporation, they're still losing millions of dollars.
Totally victim.
It was her. She was one of the ones that was not supportive.
And do you think it's a DA in that space? Do you think she's making her own choices, or do you think that's coming down from a higher? Do you think it's coming down? Because it just seems crazy to say we're not going to prosecute crime.
How do you do that?
It's fucking.
It's a state law. How do you decide what you're?
During her campaign, Rollins pledged to decriminalize certain offenses such as shoplifting, drug possession, wanton or malicious destruction,
malicious,
or property, drug possession with intent to distribute. What?
Yeah, it's crazy. That's why Mass and Cass, you've heard of the part of Boston. I don't know if you've heard of the part of Boston called Mass and Cass. It is a disaster down there. There's drug addicts everywhere. They're all over the streets. They're destroying property. There's needles all over the city in South End and that area. It's kind of, it was focused there, and now they've tried to kind of break it up the last few years because it was insane. And now they've pushed it out. Yeah, there was 10 cities down there. Look at this shit.
Yeah, and look, and some people say this is just a bill.
They have safe shoot-up zones there. They're letting them shoot up heroin in safe places.
Oh, yeah.
So now the needles are all over the South End, and the poor people in the South End, they pay a lot of money to live there. There's beautiful brownstones, and now there's people shitting in their front yards, throwing needles everywhere, breaking in. Say a guy was breaking into a house while it was under construction, the second floor. This was just a few weeks ago. And there's a guy's family's there with his kids, and they had like an old key or something, and they were breaking in and going to like shit in the floor on the second floor that was under construction. He went up, and there's like a pile of human shit in his house. He's like, what is going on? They put up cameras. The guy was going in and out every night to like sleep on the floor in his house under construction, and then shit on the floor.
It's like the emoji or whatever.
Yeah, like what is wrong with you?
What?
So that part of the city, I feel bad for people who live down there.
Oh,
that's Atkinson Street.
Yeah.
It's
where is it?
It's Atkinson Street. It's near the jail.
Yeah. Well, and look, and a lot of people say this is just a Bill's tailgate or something over here. I'm not saying that. Some people say this is a Pinto tailgate. I'm not saying that. What we're saying is that this is a lot of drug use that's happening over there in this town in Boston.
Yeah.
But here's another thing, though. They have this everywhere now.
Oh, it's everywhere.
Every city has this.
Every democratically run city, I think. Yeah. I could be wrong.
Well, we don't have one here. I know that. I hope not anyway. I don't know.
Austin got ruined.
Austin
was a blast. And I took my daughter there several years. I'd been there 10 years ago, and I was like, this is the coolest place. Reminds me of here a little bit, like 6th Street where all the bars used to be. Yeah. And then I went back a few years later because my daughter's way into music. I wanted to take her. And she was afraid to get out of the car. There were homeless people sleeping in hammocks strung from street signs in the street, and it was just rampant. Before if you were homeless, you got arrested there.
Yeah.
Which isn't the best thing, but you got to do something. They're like throwing bricks through all the windows that have been there a long time. Austin got ruined. Seattle's a shithole. Portland.
Yeah. Portland is, I'll have to sneeze, but Portland is a shithole, but also it's awesome. I will say this.
Yeah, I was up there when I do landscape photography as a hobby, or used to, and I went up to Oregon and Washington, and I love it's the coolest place. Like
Portland's
it's such a cool vibe, you know. And
but yeah, I do think that element that's out there. It's like, why are we? It's like,
I don't know their end game. Like, what is the point of ruining all these cities?
I think they want it to they want us to deteriorate. They want us to have no sense of purpose, right? They want us to like not have any pride in the places where we are because they've been so riddled. They get people addicted. You know, the opioid epidemic was put on America and was allowed to occur, right? They want
it wasn't like that when I was young.
No, they want this to happen.
Yeah.
It's no doubt to me that this is an organized agenda.
Yeah, I don't get it.
But I believe that people can fight back, and I believe that
I think it started a little bit.
I think so, and I hope so. And also, it gives you a sense of purpose in the world. It's like you're here to defeat evil, you know, and we are all can be a part of that. And I think it's something that makes us feel that way. Let's pivot a little. Yeah. You ended up in the quick question. Did you ever see Irish Mickey Ward? Did you ever run across him when you were running around over there? Did you ever hear about him or anything?
Oh, yeah, he's a boxer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never ran across him.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just watching The Fighter the other day. And
that's about him, right?
About him, yeah.
Wasn't he in it? Didn't he play as the coach or
some
shit? Or something? No. I thought they gave him a part.
He was in it at the end.
Okay.
Christian Bale, Mark
that's when
Wahlberg.
He got all skinny for it, yeah.
Such a great movie. And all the sisters and stuff, they did such a great job in that film. I got to go to watch Lainey Wilson last night.
Oh, that's right, the concert. How was it?
Yeah. I should have got y'all tickets. I didn't even know we're here.
Oh, no. Goodness,
I forgot.
That's okay.
It was so great. It was so great. Jelly Roll was there, so I got to see him. Ella Langley, I got to meet her. She has a beautiful voice. It was just great. It was like a special time.
Nice.
Yeah. And Lainey's just a boss. She's just turned into like some people start to step into whatever gift they were given in the world, and some people kind of meander around the outside of it, I think. And no way is like is better than the other, really. I think it's all by person, but she has just really embraced this role of just being like this on-stage presence. It was really powerful to watch. She does a great job. Pivoting, anyway, that's you ended up in the human trafficking unit.
Yeah, so
is that the safe term, or how does that work?
Yeah, so I was in a district detective at Dorchester, and then I went for several years, like 5 years or so, to the human trafficking unit, and then I went back to Dorchester. But yes, I had a 5-year stint in the human trafficking unit as a detective.
So what is your definition of human trafficking? Let's just get that clear, because you hear so much, right? Like a few years ago, you would hear this social kickball that was big. This was big 4 years ago, and everybody notices it's gone now, right? Notice how the kickballs fly.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's the big thing. Everybody's commenting on it online, and now it's gone, right? It's really out of the zeitgeist. I know there's still things happening, but notice how that happens, right? And everybody's like, you'd see memes online. It's like, tonight while you sleep, 1.5 million children will be taken on trains across America being human trafficked.
Yeah.
And you're like, what in the shit, dude? So what did you really see? What were you expecting when you got into that space?
So I didn't know, like everybody else, I didn't really know what that meant. I just, I knew someone asked me if I wanted to join the unit. And, I didn't know a lot about it. I thought it was just like the movies, like, people being snatched off the street and forced into to be prostitutes. In my experience, at least when I did it, that was not the case. So I guess human trafficking is like when someone's trafficked for the purpose to sell sex, right, against their will through, coercion or force or threats or whatever. But when I got there, a lot of the cases we had, it's funny, there were just several pimps that kind of ran the city that were involved. You always came back to the same like 6 or 7 guys who always had all these different women working for them. And it was always girls, not always, I shouldn't say that. Mostly it was girls from the neighborhood, or just outside the city, like the suburbs or whatever, and something in their life like was fucked up, whether it was, a parent situation where they had one parent, or they'd been like sexually abused as kids themselves, or there was like a DCF, which is Department of Children and Families, like they were foster kids. It was always kind of something missing. It could just be they weren't getting attention at home, or they weren't happy. And the pimps, a lot of them could be very charming. And they would meet these girls. They'd just meet them in the street, go to the train station. They hang at the T in Boston, or one girl was the guy started talking to her when she was walking down the street, and like, oh, you're pretty, you want to be in a music video? And she's like a teenage girl, yeah, that'd be cool. And she went, like, they shot the video, and then like say like, we have to finish the video, and then they like make her go to another state and like oh, we're gonna take pictures of you and put you online, and you're gonna have sex with these guys for money. They don't get any of the money, the pimps get all the money. So that was a situation where it was kind of, she was not willing, like that was kind of a quick one, like over a week or two. But a lot of them, they groom the girls for a long time. Oh, you don't have any money? I'll give you some money. I'll take you to get your nails done, honey. I had one guy, I literally had text messages for like a month's worth, and you could see him grooming her. She worked in a store. I think her mother was deceased, and her dad now wanted to be a woman, and it was like fucking with her head. And he like changed his name to Susan or something.
Oh yeah.
And she met this guy working in a store, and he's like, oh, you working today, honey? I'll bring you a tuna sandwich, and I don't want you hungry. And you could see it was like, this progression of a relationship. And like a month later, she was like, oh, that's my boyfriend. A lot of them think this pimp's their boyfriend. And like a month later, you could see the messages. He's like, all right, we have 7 guys coming in, and, you're going to do all 7 of them at a party. There's like a bachelor party or some shit. And then she's like, can I keep, $100 for the piggy bank? And he's like, no, it's all mine. It was like $1,000.
Damn.
So it's like they see something missing in their lives, and they just manipulate them, or they're a little messed up to begin with. They're in a bad situation. They don't know how to get out of it. They think these guys are boyfriend. You'll do this if you love me kind of shit.
So that was a lot of the sex trafficking that you saw, huh?
Yeah, that was in my experience, yes. There wasn't a lot of people being snatched off the street. Like no one's being shipped in a shipping container from Russia, and all these girls getting, the nail salon, the spas are a little bit different. The Asian women, they were moving them around.
That's that more like Jackie,
salons, but those were tough, because the second we try to like go in and
they move.
They're gone. They're gone to New York. New Jersey. It's different women. So they're gone. They don't know their names. There's like how many different dialects of
Can't pronounce the name.
Chinese, and you're trying to get our Chinese officers, hey, can you translate this? And they're like, it's a different dialect. Like, it was a disaster.
Yeah.
So those were tough.
You don't even know. You're like, we're looking for.
So we did those.
Yeah, that's crazy. That kind of shit's wild. And I don't like those kind of places. I'll say that. I'll walk into one of those salons or whatever. I say, if anybody jerks me off, I'm jerking them off. That's what I tell them. No homo. I'm just saying, but you know what I'm saying? I put the pressure on everybody in the building.
Just so everyone knows what you're going into.
Don't even jerk me off. If somebody tries to even sneak up on me and jerk me off.
Some of these girls would sleep in there. They would sleep on the beds at night when it closed.
And then they wake up and jerk you off. That's the problem.
But one of them we went in one, there was sink. There were baby turtles in the sink filled with water swimming around. I'm like, what the?
They like the animalia in there. They love aqua animals.
I don't know if they were going to make soup out of it. I don't know what the hell they were doing.
True.
I don't know what they were doing with those things. We're like, what the fuck? I don't know. You know, and we also did part of human trafficking, and we did what we call John stings. We target the sex buyer rather than, that's kind of it was a European model that they found to be more effective rather than, you know, cops used to arrest the prostitute. Well, what about the guy paying for it?
Of course, yeah.
So then you target that angle of it. Like, we're going to tell you, if you don't have buyers, then no one's going to be selling it. They tried to do it kind of backwards that way. So we would do what we call John stings, and we'd put ads online. Backpage doesn't exist anymore, but we put them on that. It was Craigslist first, and then it was Backpage. I don't know how they're doing it now, whether it's on Insta or, you know, TikTok. I don't know where the hell they're doing it now. I've been out of the unit for about 6 years now.
You'd have parties, and people would find people on Backpage and invite them over, you know, and like, they would hire strippers and stuff like that to come and dance or hang out. So it was definitely a place where people were kind of eliciting illegal activities.
Oh, yeah, that was there.
Yeah.
When you put an ad in, you could pay extra to bump it at the top. So it was so prevalent when we were doing it. Like, we'd put an ad in the morning. Say I put my ad on. We like 3 or 4 of us in the office would do fake ads, and you'd have to do like real photos, because the guys who were doing it all the time, like, we'll do reverse Google image search to find out, did this picture appear someplace else, so they know if it's a fake photo, because then maybe you're a cop or you're not going to look like who you're pretending you look like. So we'd all put our ads up, and then, you know, you put on at 8, at 8:30, your phone's ringing. It's crazy. 8:30 in the morning, they're already starting to call, and we'd set up our dates for the day. Like, we'd have a hotel room. And we'd be waiting in the hotel room, and we'd have dates set up every half an hour to show up.
And were y'all hide under the bed?
No one's hiding under the bed. I would have to open the door, and there'd be like guys like in the bathroom, officers in the bathroom behind the wall. So my trick was, and I was at like 45, 46 when I was doing it, and my ad, I'm supposed to be 34. I didn't fucking look 34, but I'd open the door, I'd have like my hair.
You would be the girl?
Oh, I was a prostitute, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What? Were y'all
So I'd have to talk to them on the phone.
What, were y'all understaffed or something? They just shouldn't have you, also the detective.
Well, no, you have to have, you're the one establishing probable cause. So if someone else is doing it, and then you have to like go testify in court, well, you're not the one that had the interaction with them. So what we do, we put our ad on the online. You'd put your photos and some stupid saying like, you know, what you're offering and how much it costs. So and of course it's acronyms for everything. That's what I didn't know anything about this before I started, about GFE, which is girlfriend experience, which means he'll kiss you. Full service means like sex and a blowjob. And then there's like Russian and Greek, and there's all these stupid acronyms for everything else. And they thought they were being clever by saying, oh, I want GFE. So they're not asking for sex.
Oh, I see.
So by them saying, I want GFE, or I want Russian, or I want this, they think they're being clever, except you can say like, well, based on my training experience, I know Russian means titty job, like, or whatever. And then so they call you on the phone.
A titty job.
Yeah, that's a Russian, by the way.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I'll take it. I mean, whatever they're getting, you know, I mean, it is. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's okay.
So you'd basically talk to them on the phone. They'd call you. And some of them are real nervous, obviously. You could tell the long timers, they got right to business. And some of them want to flirt with you on the phone or whatever. Oh, can you send pictures of your eyes or your feet? The foot fetish guys are out there big time. And then you're like, the more you do it, I'm like, I don't have time for this shit. Like, do you want to come? You were showing up or not? So you'd basically make the arrangement. So once they showed up, you already had probable cause. They already agreed to pay you for sex before they ever showed up. So then by them showing up at the hotel, they're like basically completing the entire, the elements of the crime. They showed up. They already agreed to pay you for such and such. So then you can arrest them.
Right when they get there, really.
Yeah. But like, depending where we do it, if we did it like nights or downtown parts of the high-end hotels would let us use their rooms.
Oh,
give
yeah.
us a room,
Hyatt will
whatever.
let you do anything in there.
Every time we did it, we got a doctor. Every fucking time. The Brigham Hospital, one of the best hospitals in the world, allegedly. The Beth Israel. One guy showed up in scrubs with like Beth Israel Hospital on it.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? You on lunch break? It was crazy. We got doctor every time.
Why you think?
I don't know. Too busy to get a girlfriend? I don't know.
That could be it. Or there, yeah. I wonder what that is. That's just interesting.
We always got in, and when we did it in like the not so nice parts of town, then we'd get like, the cable guys and the plasterers. And for some reason, I always felt bad for them. They didn't have any money, but it's the same crime. So I shouldn't have felt bad for them. They were just, but I did. The rich guys, because they got very arrogant when you tried to arrest them. They were all arrogant. We had one guy who was a Northeastern University professor. And he was on the phone with me saying, I'm a professor. And he was trying to talk me down on my prices. I don't make a lot of money.
Yeah, that's what I would do. I would text him. I'd be like, look, how about this? $70. I'd have some ladies coming over for $70. I'm like, Jesus. And now I'm like, I would.
He was bargaining with me. I don't make a lot of money. Meanwhile, I made more money than me.
Yeah.
But I always laugh. He wanted me. He's like, will you put me in yoga positions? That's what he wanted. These fucking freaks. I'm like, yeah, I got my Lulus on. Come on over. Like he wanted to be in yoga positions, me to put him in them, and then aggressive kissing.
And when you get some weird requests or anything like that?
Yeah.
Like anything pretty wild? Like were they any like people want you to enjoy them and their wife, like join something like that?
No, nothing. We never got those. We got a lot of, almost everybody was married. One of them we did. We met him in a bar. He said it was the end of the night. He was too nervous to come to a hotel. He said he'd never done this before or whatever. So we agreed to meet him downstairs. The hotel had a bar downstairs. And I was just sitting there. And now, again, I'm supposed to be 34. And even 10 years ago, I didn't look 34.
I think you look great.
I don't fucking look 34, but thank you. But so I'm sitting at the bar waiting, and the signal is for like me to touch my hair, and there's two cops down the end of the bar. And he comes in. I see him walk past. He comes in, and the bar is crowded. I see this guy walk in. I said, that's him. I knew it was him. You could tell like his face was, he wasn't like, hey, I just got to a bar and he's all chilled. He was like intense. And
Scared.
He walked right past me and went to the men's room. I looked at him like, that's him. He's got his fucking Burberry scarf on and his, $400 jacket.
Yeah.
And he came over and approached me. And
a librarian's son.
He tapped me and said, oh, my name or whatever. And then when they came up to arrest him, he fainted. We had so many guys faint or like collapse on the bed. His face, he was white as a ghost, and he just went down. So the officers like drag him out to the vestibule of the bar. We're like, we got to call this guy an ambulance. But he snapped to it, and he's crying and shit. And he's like, he's like 30 years old. Oh. And like, dude, and he's like, I'm so anxious all the time. I'm trying to get my wife pregnant. And I was like, you think you're going to get her pregnant by fucking a prostitute? Like, what is wrong with you?
I mean, it's worth a shot. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying.
You go fuck a stranger? And nobody wants to use a condom. That was bareback. That was another code.
Oh, they were doing
bareback.
Yeah,
that was a code. BBBJ is bareback.
God,
bareback blowjob. So they didn't want to. Oh, they got.
Here you go, bareback shit. Sex without condom.
Yeah.
BBBJ.
And they'll ask you how much extra. Like, well, how much will you charge me for a bareback? So none of them wanted to use a condom. So they're all going home to their families after fucking some rando who's having sex with 5 people that day.
Yeah.
Like, how many diseases?
Not to mention, what township was it in?
This is Boston.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So this guy's bringing I'm trying to get my wife pregnant. What are you bringing home? Yeah. Bottom bitch. That's the pimp's main girl. She's the one who runs it for him.
Really?
I see that in the terminology. Yeah.
Let's see some more terms here. The in call, the escort.
That's only B. See? They go on forever.
Huh.
Yeah.
And were people ever asked, so I'm trying to think of anything, were people ever asking for like golden showers, urination type of things?
I never got asked for those. One thing they asked me for, the guy's like, will you do a handy? And I was like, was that a quick hand job? Like, I had no idea what the fuck it was. And my partner at the time is like Googling on the Urban Dictionary, like, what's that? It was some crazy thing about choking, and she's on top and then you flip and he's on. I was like, how the fuck do they come up with these names? Like, what does that even mean?
That's all that Cirque du Soleil shit people are doing now.
Like, how is that a handy? Because I was like, what is that?
That's all that welterweight stuff, I think. I don't know what it is. What about, was there a lot of stuff like people want you to touch the hole in their butt or anything like that? Like any weird stuff like that?
No, they never got that specific on the phone. But they would ask for anal. That was Greek. They were like, will you do, one of them, their clever way, they're like, ooh, do you speak any languages?
Oh.
So then I'm supposed to say, yeah, I speak Greek and Russian. That's what I mean. They think they're clever. They have all these weird online forums where they talk about the prostitutes. They rate them. God. I forget what the page they used to rate them on. So that's why we had to change up our photos and use real stuff. Because these guys all talk to each other. The guys that do it all the time. Not the one-timers.
The lifers.
Or dabblers like yourself.
Dabblers, yeah. In and out. In and out. In and out.
Yeah, they talk to each other and rate the girls. It's crazy. It's a crazy life.
And when would a night like that for you guys end? Like, was there a certain point where you guys like,
we
shut
kind
it
of
down?
call it. So like the calls would start coming in the morning, and we'd have hire overtime to transport out because they'd be showing up. Sometimes they show up at the same time. Like, oh shit, and they're coming to the same room. So we try to stagger the dates, and we'd have them schedule the area hour every half hour, whatever. And after like 8 or 10 hours, the boss would call it. We always did it Super Bowl weekend. It was Cook County in Illinois did a big funding thing for it. They got money from the feds and they all kind of agreed to do it. So at certain times a year, Super Bowls were always when we did it. So we'd call it a night after like after we arrested like 12, 14 people or whatever. She'd be like, all right, that's enough. Like,
so on
stop
Super Bowl weekend,
phones.
you guys are, so on most Super Bowl weekends, you guys are doing that?
We were when we were in the Human Trafficking Unit, yeah. But we got one guy, I was talking to him on the phone. I'm like, this guy is so fucking old. Now I'm laughing. I was very shy about it when I first started doing it, but I don't know who the hell. I'm not a prostitute. I don't talk to these people. Yeah. So I'd be all anxious, like hiding in the bathroom. So there's just 8 cops in there. I don't want them listening to me like, yeah, you can stick in my ass for an extra 50. Like I was embarrassed. Yeah. And then I got more comfortable and they would just be laughing. Like I'd just be like, yeah, this is what you want. Okay. And everybody's laughing. One guy,
come on my forearms or whatever for $30. Yeah.
Sounded so old. And he's like, you got to, I'm an older gentleman. And I remember saying, that's all right, I'll take it easy on you. And then he shows up. He's like shorter than me. Turns out he's like multimillionaire philanthropist from Beacon Hill on the boards of like Children's Hospital and all this crazy. He laughed. He burst out laughing when he got arrested. He was a tiny little guy with glasses. He laughed. Everyone else shits himself or gets angry. But he laughed. He's the only one. He didn't give a shit. He said, yeah, I'll pay the fine. I don't care. Just get my phone back. We take all their phones. And I remember I was doing a detail at Fenway Park and he was in contact. He's like, I paid my fine. Can I get my phone back? Because we take their phones as evidence. We have to show their text messages or whatever. And if they pay the fine or plead out, they get their property back because the case is done. But if they're fighting it, then we keep the evidence because we have to, do a search warrant on the phone and all this stuff. He's like, yeah, I paid my fine. He literally, he showed up at the Red. I'm like, I'm working in detail. Like, you can come and get it. So I was in uniform that day because normally I'm not in uniform. And he showed up and he's laughing in the car. I'm like, here's your phone. I'm like, what's the matter with you? Like, we got money. Go get a girlfriend. He's like, it's not worth the trouble. I was like, all right, have a good day. Yeah. He did not give a shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gosh, dude. Did you ever just like accidentally just hook up with one of them? Like, did that ever happen?
No, that didn't happen.
Like, did one ever show up and you're like, oh, this guy's kind of cute. I wish it wasn't like this.
No, I never thought I wish it wasn't like this. But some of them weren't, that's what we say. Some of them are good looking. You're like, what's wrong with you? Like, you're good looking. We used to say, like, you're a good looking dude. You can get a girlfriend. Some of them are like fucking grotesque. Like, you could see why they're paying for it. Like I said, the doctors don't have time, maybe. I don't know. They don't want the commitment, but some of them be good looking dudes. Like, what's wrong with you?
I think for some guys, they have their sexual experience, especially if it starts off with pornography, a lot of times is really skewed.
Well, that's an issue now. They don't know what's real life, Right,
but they don't. But then if it starts off with pornography, it's very skewed, right? Because this is an environment that's kind of like, you can get exactly what you want out of pornography. You can just put the terms in, you get what you want, and that's your intimacy. So that's how you build it, right? So then it almost it's not right. Doesn't make anything right or anything like that. And some people agree, like prostitution is one of the oldest businesses in the universe, right? It's always been there. But some people, the closest way they can get somebody is almost just they're trying to create the same thing, but in real life, right? So like, I need to create the same thing where it's like, I can kind of get what I would like.
Yeah.
These are my Google terms. These are the things that I like, and I'm going to pay for that.
They don't want to waste time, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, I think some people for sure it's time. It's like, I don't want to have a big relationship. I just want to have some sex. I don't want to take
someone out to dinner every, twice a week and spend hundreds.
And there's a lot of that goes on, and I don't look down upon any of it. I just think it's interesting that, but yeah, the laws are the laws in those, and that's just what your experience was like with them.
So what I learned, like it's like, hey, if a girl wants to do it, but in reality, I think 99% of the time, they're not making a dime.
Oh,
so they're doing it all and the pimp's taking all the money. So that's why I was like, well, that sucks. Like I had like one girl who was like, no, this is how much I make. And she does what's something called sissy play. And I was like, what's guys who like want to get hurt, but close to, not like sadomasochism or whatever. But she made a lot of money. She's like, I make, $500 an hour or whatever. And I was
That's
like,
weirdo, guys.
shit. You know what I mean? My partner would be like, we need a new job when we retire. Like, what the hell?
I know a dude like
but
that.
She kept her own money, but literally out of everyone else I ever met, they didn't keep it. They had to hand it over. So guys think, when we tried to do it as like an education thing, we tell the guys, when we arrest them, like, we're not doing this to her, because they're always like, don't tell my wife. Like, everyone would panic.
For sure.
Say, look, it's kind of was supposedly at the time like an education thing. We're trying to make you aware. These girls, you think it's you're doing something and you're paying for the service, they're giving you the service, and everyone leaves happy. But the girls weren't getting the money. They were getting the shit kicked out of them half the time.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
So.
Oh, yeah.
Happy stuff. I hated telling people I worked there because it was like a conversation killer. Like, you'd see people's shoulders just droop. You're like, oh, you work at the Human Trafficking Unit? They're like, oh. So,
well, I'm sure,
nothing good there. Nothing good happening there.
Well, it's just interesting how perverse like sexuality can get and the things that cause it in our world, It's another thing why they even allow pornography to exist. Like, I don't know if we need it, like, as readily available as it is. We had a woman come on named Lila McElwaite, and she was telling us that a lot of the pornography you see online, it's non-consensual, right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of times you could have somebody basically masturbating or watching and enjoying a crime, and they don't even know it. So
they don't know.
Just the whole circle of it all is kind of depraved.
It's the same thing.
But then I have friends that do sex work, and they work for themselves, and they're masterful at it.
Fair enough. If they're working for themselves and they want to do that and they're making the money, that is victimless.
Yeah. And I think, and people may have issues with people on both sides of the transaction probably have some issues. Yeah. And may or may not. It could be different. But anyway. Yeah, that would just be, but yeah, some people are in a weird stuff. I had a buddy, he would hire a woman just to tickle him until he shit himself.
Oh, fuck. This is some weird shit out there. There's a lot of fetishes, man. That's why I started putting my feet in the photos, because I was like, I got to get the foot fetish guy.
Yeah.
Because people want some, like the guy wanted me to put him in yoga positions. How does that do it for you?
Yeah.
It's bizarre. Like you said, the guy wanted to tickle till he shit.
Yeah.
That's a really specific wish.
Oh, if you tickle
me. Like, how do you get there?
Yeah.
How do you get there and go, like, were you tickled as a kid? And we're like, oh, no, I'm going to shit myself. And then as an adult, that's what it does it for you?
Probably, I don't know,
bizarre.
Where you watch a funny movie and then you have to pee. Like, maybe, I don't know how you start.
I don't know how you get there.
But yeah, if somebody tickled me to last shit, I would be upset.
Right?
I think overall.
I think most would.
Did you ever feel like you had to be like a protector for these women, or did a lot of them feel like they were in their own spape and that's what they wanted, and it's not something you can really help with? Like a lot of the women. It was a lot of the case.
It was a lot of. I felt like you're just banging your head off the wall, going nowhere. You'd help somebody, you get them away from somebody, you get them into it's like a safe home. Like there was a woman who ran a nonprofit, a place to put these people, get them some clothes. Like a lot of them. They'd steal their shoes and their IDs and their phones or whatever, so they couldn't run away. So you find them a place to stay, and get them Target gift cards so they can go buy like a toothbrush and some soap, and then like in the middle of the night they jump out the fucking window. Yeah. So like you're like getting called out of your house at 10 o'clock at night to go help somebody, and then they're like, oh well, she's gone. And so many of them ended that way, or they just disappeared. They wouldn't testify against them, so the cases went nowhere. So it was a little frustrating. Yeah,
I think it's people. You can't help people till they are ready for some help.
Exactly.
Yeah. What about was there any gay pimps out there? Was that kind of thing?
I don't know.
Or did a guy ever lie and say, like, when you busted him, like say you set him up with a female prostitute, and he just like, he was like, I'm gay, I'm just joking, happy Halloween or whatever,
No, they never tried that. I mean, the jig's up as soon as they show up.
God.
Most of them knew it. They like fall on the bed, and a couple of them cry. Like, really?
Yeah.
But no, none of them. No one ever tried to show the gay card. Be like, it wasn't me.
Yeah.
I'm just here for fun.
Yeah, I was just joking.
Just fucking with you.
Yeah, dude. You had a 3-year investigation that you worked on.
Yeah, that was a human trafficking case that I did with someone from Homeland Security Investigations.
Okay, and what was that excellent. Like? Take me through some of that story. You had a 3-year investigation.
That actually started with the one I told you, the girl, the music video.
Okay,
that's how it started. And we got a call to Children's Hospital in Boston, saying this girl there said she was raped in Rhode Island.
Oh.
I think she was 15 maybe, or 16. That's how that case started. And then we found out all she had was a nickname. It wasn't even a guy's real name. She had like his Facebook page and a nickname.
Like Smokey or something?
Yeah. I don't want to say it.
Okay. Sorry, never mind.
No, the guy, yeah.
I was just guessing if it was Smokey.
No, it wasn't Smokey.
Okay.
So she has a nickname, and we kind of worked backwards from that. Like one of the Homeland Security agents drove the girl. She's like, oh, this woman drove me to Rhode Island, but she wasn't involved, but she drove me. And this is where she lived. She lived in this neighborhood. That's where I had to meet her. So the Homeland Security guy started driving around, and he saw the car in the neighborhood and got the license plate. So then I start looking on my end, because he doesn't have access to Boston police reports. I start looking for the license plate. In a car that matches her description, because we don't know if it's exact. And I find a car, but it's a guy's name. But then I start looking for reports with someone for that last name. And then I found a woman with that last name and with her first name, because she told me the girls, she knew the woman's first name. All we had was a first name and a red car. So then I find the last name in the car registration. I find old reports with this woman with their first name and the same last name. And we're like, oh shit, that we pull up we did a photo array to show the girl. And she's like, that's her. So then we start talking to her, and we end up going, it was like a spider web. So these two guys, there were two guys who pimped her out in Rhode Island, where she did get raped by some guy. The guy in Rhode Island, I got like 7 years for the rape or something, because she did not go willingly. And those two guys worked for another pimp, and he had women, I think he was in his late 20s, and he had, I think like 11 baby mamas and like 17 kids or 14 kids, something crazy. But he had like 27, 28 victims, girls that worked for him over a period of time, including a bottom bitch. She's like the girl that works for him who recruits girls and is basically in charge of everything, collecting the money or whatever. She works herself too, usually, the bottom bitch. But that took like 3 years, because we were like in Maine, New York. These girls went to New Jersey. They went to Vegas, California. They would drive. They would drive to Vegas and work and then drive back. But he had all these women working for him. And he was very, very violent. Like he would beat the shit out of the girls. He would pee on them, stole their shoes, their licenses, their cell phones, so they couldn't call home. Like I said, some of these girls came from like messed up places. And it took like 3 years to get enough people to, because every time we found somebody else.
Yeah.
That took a long time.
God.
But he was I think he got like 33 years in jail, because that went federal because of all the different states. That was a biggie.
Well, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that work.
Thanks. I liked going back to the district. I mean, I liked it at the time, the schedule worked, but the district is great people like the patrolman. Because when you were in the human trafficking, there's no patrolman, it's just detectives. So it's like 4 or 5 detectives and a supervisor. When you go back to the district, there's 100, 200 people there. So it's a lot more fun. And
you're part of life.
we laugh all day and stuff like that. So I was happy.
I realize that kind of stuff. I go hang out with the football team around here sometimes, and it's just like some of the best parts of my week, because there's just people around.
Yeah,
it's like otherwise my life is very much like kind of by myself, or like not by myself, but it's a limited amount,
Yeah, it got old, and again, all the cases, most of them go nowhere, so that's frustrating. And I just wanted to go, back to the district and it's great people. They're the best people on earth, and you just had laugh all day. Like when it's real shitty, like the one with the guy, 2 women stabbed and the dog was stabbed in the stomach or whatever. Like those are, like we work with really good people.
We're all there together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you won Detective of the Year for that, right?
Yeah, for the federal for the 3-year, yeah.
Let's go, Kara. Congratulations.
It's funny, Mark Wahlberg was at the ceremony for the Boston Police Foundation, gave me the award. The Detectives Union did too, but the Boston Police Foundation did. It's like a nonprofit. And at the time, they were promoting the movie Patriots Day. Ooh. And Peter Berg, the director, and Mark Wahlberg were there for the award ceremony. I have a picture with them or whatever.
You did?
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm going to have to... I will.
Yeah, they were promoting that.
I'll text Mark and send him our picture. I don't know if he probably doesn't even know who I am, but I think I accidentally snuck his number off of a sheet one time.
Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's from Dorchester, where I was a detective.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, then I'll make sure to.
That's where he and his brothers, the family's from.
Not even in a braggy way. I'll just be like, hey, this is awesome. I just wanted to let you know I met one of Dorchester's finest today right here. But congratulations. That's so cool. Did that make you feel a sense of accomplishment?
Yeah. I mean, I worked hard. Again, it was with Homeland Security, and a Homeland Security agent. She did a shit ton of work, more than me. She was great. We worked together on it. And like I said, it was a long investigation. So I was very happy to have it resolved,
Yeah.
In the process of it, the pimp who was in charge, who thought the first 2 pimps that got caught with the girl in Rhode Island, that I found through a nickname or whatever, they thought one of them was ratting to the feds. So he had someone shoot one of them in the head.
No.
He lived, but not good. It was like a piece of pie was missing from his head.
Oh.
And he could sing, but he couldn't talk. He could no longer speak. And that's when I found out they said in the brain, like, oh, it's different parts of the brain. He could like sing the alphabet and happy birthday, but he couldn't speak.
Oh.
And he was not ratting to the feds. He was nobody. He was like away in New Jersey with some girl.
Not at that point. You're like, who did it? And he's like, DEFG.
Yeah, I was in court on something else, and one of the DAs was like,
LMNOP.
did you hear this guy got shot? And I was like, what's his name? I was like, oh shit, we're looking for him. We have an arrest warrant for him. Yeah. But that guy had him shot.
Man, they get caught up in such depths of darkness.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so that was, I was glad to be done with that one.
Is most of your social life with police officers and cops and stuff? It is.
It was until I moved.
Move where?
I moved out of Boston. I moved to South Carolina.
You did?
Yes.
No way. What part do you live in?
Yeah, I live just outside Charleston.
Dude, I used to go to college at Charleston for one semester.
Nice.
Yeah, I used to live over on King Street above a buddy's apartment for a while.
King Street's the shit.
It was pretty neat. It was a little bit different, but it was fun. And it's beautiful over there.
It's gorgeous.
Are you
and I
enjoying
don't
it?
want to be cold, and I'm not a Florida person.
And your daughter lives over there?
Yeah.
You guys got Folly Beach. That's right there.
Yeah, IOP, Isle Palm, Sullivan's Island. Yeah, but she lives north. We live just north of Charleston. So, yeah, we moved there. So right before I moved, forget where we're going with this.
I was just saying, is most of your social life with
police
officers?
Yeah. Until I moved, yes. And it's weird. Everyone's like, oh, you got to have friends that aren't cops. So I have friends that I'm still friends with from high school that I've been friends with for 40 years. So I have a core group of girls, a few girls that I've known since high school. But it's weird. When you become a cop, like it's hard to talk to regular people. Only because I always said I felt like a party trick. If you're out in a large group and someone's like, oh, they're a cop. You got any stories? Did you ever shoot anybody?
Yeah, shoot him.
No, I didn't fucking shoot anybody. And if I did, it was a bad day. So maybe I don't want to talk about it. So I think that's why we all just end up hanging together because we get it, whether it's, cops or nurses or whatever. They get it because you don't want to feel, you don't want to be performing all the time. Like, I don't want to talk about it. It sucks.
Yeah, you wear cuffs.
Some of it's funny.
Just handcuff sex jokes and
like
stuff.
Dick on the sidewalk sounds funny, but that was a sock morning, you know what I mean? More for that kid than me, but baby in a trash can and all this other shit, it's hard.
Yeah, first of all, a lot of these sound like baby shower party games too. I do want to say that. And that's not what we're doing here today, guys. That's just kind of some of the way things sound.
Yes. So those are what I call my chapter. My titles of my chapters of the alleged book I'm going to write.
I love
That's
that.
why I shortened it like that. But like, you don't want to feel like you're on all the time. So that's why we hang together because we all get it and we have a weird sense of humor. We're different people. Like when we have Christmas, I used to run the Christmas parties for our district, and they'd be like, "Oh, we can section off a part of the bar." We're like, "No. We have to be in our own space. Like we are not fit for public society." Yeah. I used to say because we say shit that is not funny, and if it's funny to us. But if like random normal people who just go about their business heard some of the shit that we say, they'd be horrified.
Oh, I've had very recent experience with some of that, and I feel you 100%. Wow. Was it hard to move away then?
No, I was ready.
You were?
Yeah, I was done, and I wanted to be warm. My daughter was already down here. So.
Oh, your daughter lives in Charleston?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
I wanted to come down.
Is that your only child?
Yeah.
Oh, she's beautiful.
Thank you.
And are you still married or no?
No, divorced. Okay. Years, yeah.
And was that hard is it hard to keep them? Are a lot of officers married? And is there a lot of dating on the force? What's that kind of life like?
Yeah, it's a little.
It seems very tough.
We spend a lot of time together, so there's always a lot of relationships form in the police department. Like cops end up married to each other. I'm divorced. I've been divorced for years. It's funny. My ex-husband and his he's remarried wife. They moved down here too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we all get along. So they could be near my daughter, and they have a child as well. So she has a brother with him, but it's hard. It seems easier now. For some reason, cops now, in my experience that I've seen, are more family oriented than they were when I was young. There was a lot more drinking going on then. Like guys would stay late in the parking lot, and like no one would go home. And now everyone's all about their family. So I think it's morphed. Whether it's who they're choosing or no one wants the job, first of all, by the way. When I took the police exam, like 10,000 people took it. And now they can't even get like 800 people to take the test. No one wants, it's terrible. People hate us.
Of course, when your district attorney's not supporting you, when your government isn't supporting you.
And all over the country, like, no, we're not the fire department. Everyone, America's heroes, it's a joke. We laugh that no one wants to see us coming. And it's just gotten worse and worse over time because we're not politically supported even nationally, or weren't in the past. It's changed. So it's hard to maintain relationships, like unless you, because we're with each other, we all work 12, 14, 16 hours a day.
I can't even imagine.
And so that's how a lot of them end up together.
Yeah.
I think. And then again, because they understand it. It's hard for a non-police person to understand what's going through our crazy heads because we're all crazy. Or we would have taken the job, I think, if it didn't make you crazy.
I can't even imagine. You have to drive in a car that has a siren on it. First of all, that sometimes it's kind of aggravating. And then when you get there, you might have to shoot somebody or get shot.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah, it's a lot.
You know,
it can be. So it's a lot for a regular person to live with someone who's dealing with that, I think.
Yeah. Is it hard to keep the work at work for a lot of people, or is it not? Is it?
It's changed. I mean, it varies by person. Some people can shut it off. They don't give a shit. Just go home and shut it off. And some people get really, fucked up over it and drink too much, or they're too, mental, like depression or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So,
what did you think about Trump utilizing the National Guard to help out in some of these cities?
I thought it was fucking great.
I did too.
I mean, if the mayor's not going to fix it, you can't have that much chaos in the streets. Do something.
I agree.
And the fact that they're fighting it like, oh, how dare you clean up my city? Are you insane?
I would love if there's military in it. I mean, like, especially if it helps us get to a point where we don't need that, where there's a bit of, where it solves the problem.
People want it. It's funny when everyone was hating on us a few years ago, bad after George Floyd and stuff. Everyone hate us, videotaping you everywhere you go, cameras, every radio call you're at. The phone's out in your face. They're waiting for something to happen, and they're cursing at you, spitting on, like they spit on you when they talk, and that's not. And you can't react to that. You can't be like, you can't get into it with people. And so
what pieces of shit do that?
Everyone. That's who does it. Every piece of shit does it. But then you find out, like the normal people in the neighborhoods, they want us there. They come out. They're like, "Thank you, thank you for coming." But doesn't happen as often as you'd like.
And it is interesting. It is like, I think it is a nice reminder to find ways to stop by our police and fire departments and be supportive, One thing that's kind of fun about fire departments, I'll say, is you can walk by and see the guys right there sometimes, right by the truck, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you can go up and say, hey.
Yeah.
You can go up and
it's not like walking into a police station, you're right.
Yeah, there you're like, okay.
Well, it has to be secure because there's prisoners inside and there's firearms. So
that's true, it's different.
It can't be as open and welcoming
at
as
a fire department, there's just a crock pot full of freaking ballpark Franks going on. So it's a different. Now they'll guard those with their life. Some of those guys.
It's a different atmosphere. Yeah.
And there's the one guy that's like afraid to slide down the pole. He's like, he just waits till everybody else goes, and then he just takes the stairs real fast. But none of that's any judgment. These guys are heroes. But that's one thing that's nice. Like we were in New York the other day, and they were even doing a call, and we took my buddy's son up, and he will wear his little fire jacket around town, and he'll just go get into the fire truck and shit. It's like they come back, and we're just like, this kid's just in their truck. But
kids love fire trucks.
Oh, they love it.
I mean, that's in cruisers, they like the noise, noise and the lights.
It's exciting.
They think it's cool.
Look at this. Here we go. Sean Diddy Combs sentencing live updates. Combs gets 50 months in prison.
That's actually not that much. 4 years.
For his conviction on 2 prostitution-related offenses. What were the offenses? Can you let me know?
He must have been sex trafficking of a minor, maybe.
He got acquitted of the most serious charges he faced: racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking. Found him guilty on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. I personally thought that this whole thing was something they were trying to create during the election, of kind of like, I don't know how they were trying to use it, but I thought they were trying
to. He did some crazy shit.
Oh, for sure. I mean, but do you think he was just a freak that got really addicted to what he was doing and a power hungry? From what I hear, he's a very power controlling type of person.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously don't know the gist of the cases, why they charge him with conspiracy and sex trafficking with the minors involved. So I don't know why. Yeah, so we got just over 4 years. So I don't know what he. I mean, you can't get them for sex parties, so there's obviously something there.
That's a good point. And who knows what they kept back? Who knows what got behind closed
stuff
doors?
Gets suppressed. Yeah. Or victims don't want to testify. Was he the one with the girl who was kicking the shit out of in the hallway at the elevator? That was pretty bad to watch.
Yeah, never mind. You know what? Fuck that. Give him fucking 10 more years. I am. I'm sorry. And you know what's messed up? I forgot about that.
Yeah.
There's so much evil shit out there sometimes.
Yeah. Well, it's nonstop. Every week there's something else. Every day something else comes out. So,
but do you think? So going back to that, that statement, and I agree with you. There's a lot. But if we go back to working the beats in Dorchester when you were starting, there's a better way to do it, right? There's a better way we can be.
Yeah, people have to be human beings, but there's a lot of people that aren't. They're pieces of shit for whatever reason, whether it's poverty or their upbringing or drugs. Fucks up families to know it. And so I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. It's not what we're doing.
Right. I wonder if it's what we are doing or what is being done to us that's having more of an effect on us, or probably some.
Well, yeah, when we can't control it, people are going to be pieces of shit and bad. Like, that's not our fault. That's not your fault. We didn't do anything. We're just going about our business, having a job, getting up in the morning, going to work or whatever.
Yeah.
The people that choose to, I'm just going to fucking rob this person. Some people are just bad people.
Yeah.
Some people end up that way because of the way they're raised, and some people are just fucking bad.
They really are.
It's the way they are.
Yeah, and I think sometimes we do get caught in this space of like, oh, we have to recuperate everybody and we got to save everybody. Right.
There's real victims out there.
Right.
And it's not them. It's not those guys.
That's a good point. Oh, when it came to the prostitute, the pimps and everything like that, is there a certain like ethnicity? Like, is it Asian? Is it black? Is it white? Is it
the
Mexican?
Pimps?
Do you hear like is that whole universe of a certain world? Like where a lot of these, because you always hear like Asian prostitution. Like, was it a certain, or is it anybody?
So the spas were Asian. Their pimps were Asian. But the ones, in my experience, in all of my cases, whether they were male or female pimps, because we had a couple females, they were black. They were African American.
Really?
Yeah.
Black female pimps too?
They worked, yes. They ended up, like the bottom bitch, they'd end up kind of working on their own.
The most common ethnicities of pimps in the United States, according to available arrest data and research, are predominantly black African American, making up about 2/3 of identified or arrested pimps. Wow, followed by a smaller proportion of Latino, white, multiracial, mixed people. They'll pretty much do anything, and Asian individuals.
Yeah, the spas were the guys. People running those were Asian.
That's kind of crazy. I wonder. Well, maybe it has a lot to do with that music that's in that culture too. Just the way that some of that music is so vulgar and like bitch, pimp, and that
Yeah, stuff's glorified.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that culture has the most glorification of the music of the performers. Now, a lot of the producers and agents of that group are white. So certainly just as much.
Yeah, they're involved too.
Responsibility, yeah. Thank you so much for hanging out. I want to know, what do you like to do now? So are you retired now?
I just retired 3 months ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy. You're supposed to put in 32 years to get your full pension, but I gave up after 31.
What?
Yeah, 32 years.
But you still get a pension?
No, I get my pension. It's just not, the most you're going to get is 80% of your salary.
Okay.
After 32 years. And I stayed till 31 years and I get like 77% or something.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm down south now. I go to the beach. I paint. I do oil painting as a hobby.
You do?
Yeah.
Would you do us a little bitty painting and we could put it in here?
No, I'm fucking terrible. I'm just learning. I copy artists that I like. That's how I'm learning. It's like mixed colors and stuff like that. So I copy artists' paintings that I appreciate and I try to recreate them just in the learning process. I'm terrible. I'm brand new.
If you ever do want to do something even small, and it can even be years from now, you want to...
I'll send you a little painting.
Yeah.
My niece is an actual painter. And I told her I was coming. She's like, bring Theo a painting.
Oh, that's cool. That's sweet. Well, I'm glad that I asked. That would be really nice to have because then I can tell people who it's from.
All right.
And thank you so much for your service.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Oh,
Thank you for having normal people on and not just, like you. It's nice to have someone who gives a shit what we're doing instead of,
Yeah, well, I think I'm learning more that's just so much more important to me sometimes, I think. I don't know. This whole thing has been interesting, like just talking to people and stuff like that. Because I'm not really the best interviewer, but I am curious about people.
Well, that's what makes a good interview. You ask people questions. You're a great interviewer. Come on.
Well, that's sweet of you. Thank you.
You're welcome. I love the Amish kid interview. That was great.
Oh, he was good,
He was great.
He was
very
funny.
well spoken. He was just very direct. He seemed so natural at it. He really did.
I know.
I see your hat there. I like your remnant.
That's really him. And Louis C.K. just gave me his new book. I'd give it to your daughter, but it's kind of for boys.
It's a boy book. Is it a novel?
It is. And he did a really great job writing.
All right. He's funny. He's funny shit. I know he had trouble in the past, but he's a funny bastard.
Yeah, he is. And I'm so glad he had trouble in the past because that's how he and I got to know each other because we've all had trouble and fucking that. So it's good.
That's great.
Yeah. And in the spirit of service, we got a picture of our Jim Jeffries. He was a comedian that was on. That's his nephew.
Oh, nice.
Lieutenant Max Nugent. Yeah, who was an officer in the Australian Army, and he passed away in a helicopter crash. So he's our hero. So we're excited to have him.
Nice to have him there.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, he's cool. He seems like a neat guy. So I'm sure we'll get to know channel some thoughts and feelings and energy from him over the years. But anyway, thank you both for your service. Congratulations on your move.
Thank
you look lovely. And I wish you a beautiful second half of your life as it evolves.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for bringing your daughter. And we got you guys set up for dinner night over at 12:30 Club. That'll be fun.
That's lovely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yep.
Lovely to meet you.
Now I'm just floating on the breeze, and I feel I'm falling like these leaves. I must be cornerstone. Oh.